2,
9,
1. I guess we're live.
4.
All right. So Jake asked the question.
So we're looking at this. I don't know if you want to share this.
Yeah, I'll
share this
put it.
picture on stream.
Gotta find it again. Yes, he's a buddy of mine. He's into reenacting. He does. He got out of the army and was like decided. I can't remember the name of the company, but they went out of business. He's like, he bought the company from them. And he was like, okay, I'll start making hats. So he started making all these kepis and whatnot. Avery Miller's his name, but his company is Goober Grabber Headgear. But he does amazing, fantastic work. I'll see if I can.
Yeah, Trey, if you just hit get the picture up and then present it.
Oh, we got a in chat. We got Gunslinger from Wish who says he's a private fresh out of basic.
Nice, good for you, man. All right, how do I get the picture up to?
I'm like an old man.
So open up the picture, right, and then hit present on StreamYard, okay, and then make sure you get the tab correct and everything. Like it'll prompt you with that. It's going to show your actual screen.
Let's see if I can figure it out.
What's your MOS there, Gunslinger? Or you just got a basic, but what's going to be your MOS?
What did you sign up to do?
I'm an ancient X-ray. I love an X-ray. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Fill out a fucking airborne.
91 Foxtrot.
Yeah.
That's a new one to me.
Isn't that supply?
Google will come to my rescue.
91 Yankee used to be the supply thing, but I know they change these fucking things every couple of years. So.
Working on M2A1s. Small arms and artillery repair. That's actually.
Oh, yeah, he's an armor.
One.
Okay, yeah. Fucking
Okay.
A.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dude,
you are welcome here.
We let our armorer go on a lot of shit with us and carry weapons and shit. Like, yeah.
You are welcome
Excellent.
here, young sir.
Yep.
You got 2 infantrymen and an MP.
92 Yankee. I fucked that up. But yeah. Got the perfect pinky. Yeah.
And a $20 bill rolled up in the ejection port.
So I was an armorer at the end of my stint. Oh, present. Okay, there we go.
So you were 31 Bravo, and then you went to 91.
I didn't really reclass. They just kind of folded me into the because they were like, we don't have one, so we need one. I was like, all right, I got you.
Yep.
Does anybody know how to take a weapon apart?
No.
Does anybody know how to use tools?
Where's this picture at?
I can probably share it too.
Yeah, Jake, you just want to share it?
Hold on.
It'd be a lot quicker, probably.
Open image. Let's close that one. Let's pull that out into a separate
you can present
window.
to the exact tab. Yep.
Yeah. Share screen.
And I'll make sure it's
easier with yeah. Share screen. So. And that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we got the picture up for everybody to see, my big question was, because I love the Hardee hat. I love the history of the Hardee hat. When did, and this is a question for the Civil War buff here, when did the infantry branch switch from using the bugle as an insignia on their caps to using the cross rifles? Because I don't know.
It's definitely post-war. That was like an Indian Wars area thing. I don't know exact year. Because the infantry was bugle, artillery was cross barrels, and cavalry was cross sabers.
Yep.
That was the main 3 that you had, because it wasn't Air Force yet, Mike.
And then wasn't there also the use of the ordnance bomb at some point too? Or was that post Civil War as well?
It was Civil War, but it wasn't a it was more of like a stamp or something like that. You wouldn't see. I think they did have the brass pin, but that was more for like I think ordnance and or quartermaster. But you wouldn't see
Okay.
that. You would
I-
see the average Joe in the field wearing it
Okay. So why did the infantry use a bugle?
because that's how you did commands
Okay.
via drum or bugle.
Okay.
Because there wasn't, obviously radios and whatnot. So you would get all of your commands via a bugle. And Gettysburg does a very good little anecdote about it. Like each company or brigade or battalion had their own pre-call prior to the call itself. So they would have, I think one of the Lieutenant Chamberlain was explaining it. If you hear this call, ta 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 ta, versus just blaring out an order and then everybody on the line just like, well, that's a retreat. We all retreat.
Okay. That's something I didn't know about the infantry branch. I never knew that. Thank you.
And I've got it somewhere around here. I've got one of the Casey's manual because there's like 6 different manuals for the Civil War. Casey's, Gillham's, Hardee's, and a few others that are modified. They're all basically the same for the most part, but there is a command: prepare to fire by the drum. Drummer beat off. It's kind of comical. It's, if I remember correctly, it's tut 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 tut, and then the last one you hit both sticks, and that's when you fire. Because the percussion drum and the bugle can be heard better on the battlefield than a human voice.
Yeah.
It carries deeper.
Yep.
And like we were talking about, and I think it wasn't Glory, it might have been the other one. If you ever get a chance to go to a reenactment and they have like a full concussion musical group playing, oh man, it is amazing. The snare drum just, or not the snare, the percussion is just amazing.
Okay, so here's another question, Civil War question. So modern days, we have unit patches to differentiate one unit from another. How did they do it back then?
So the Union did it mid-war. They're still around today. I don't have them memorized because it's too much of a pain in the ass, but actually there's more than 4. You've got divisional patches. You have Heart, Diamond, Cross, Maltese Cross. One, I think the 24th was a cartridge box. It was like a piece of cloth sewn out and put on the cap.
Okay.
I don't have one on any of my caps right now that I think of, but I can send it in the find a picture and send it because they're fairly neat. And then I think each division was a different color, so you have like white, red, blue.
But they did have distinctive unit insignias in the Civil War, American Civil War.
Yes. Yep.
Huh. Okay.
What was the Iron Brigades?
Well, this is a fun conversation. Trey, explain the Iron Brigades because you explained it to me, and I was like, makes sense.
So I will send you this picture if I can.
Iron Brigade was not just the 2nd Wisconsin Volunteer Infantry, by the way.
Yeah,
I know that. I know that.
It was a loose term, but they're the ones who had the name stuck to them because they were hard chargers, and it stuck with them to the very end for the most part.
And there was also a lot more units folded into the Iron Brigade than just the 2nd Wisconsin too. There was, I think there was like the 9th, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, from what Trey said the other night on a podcast, is an Iron Brigade was just the name that was given to a brigade that was a hard charging brigade. Doesn't matter what unit or state they're from. It's just whoever they could count on, like, everything's fucked. Send those guys in, and that's the Iron Brigade for this battle. Am I correct, Trey?
Yes. But like I said, the Wisconsin unit, they were the ones who basically were like, it stuck with them. The Confederacy called them the Iron Brigade, the Black Hats, etc.
Yeah, and I've read the anecdotes of them, those goddamn Black Hats. in
Yep.
reference to the Wisconsin second Wisconsin.
Yeah, they kept them for whatever reason. They're not very comfortable. They're not very great hats. Unless you shape them. I used to have one that was shaped. They basically they took the center. I'll pull mine out in a second and show you because I've not taken mine out because I want to keep it as a garrison cap.
So
Right.
So what are we actually looking at here for these insignias?
So the right side is basically just the 1851 or 58. I can't remember. Just the Jefferson Davis pin, not the Jefferson Davis, the Confederate president, but another Jefferson Davis. Kind of a common name. The bugle, or I'm sorry, I'm looking at the hat. But
Yeah.
the so if you look at the picture itself, each circle, the diamond, triangle, each one was, I believe, from a division. And then the brigades had different colors, so white or red, white, and blue. So they're
Okay.
showing they're not, this one brigade division.
Oh yeah,
per
I see the
head.
I see the
Exactly.
cartridge box one you were talking
Yep.
about.
There's also an acorn one. I don't see that on there. It is. It's above it.
It's right above the cartridge
So-
box.
So can you zoom in a little bit? Just a little bit.
That's about all you get.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
There's
So-
the acorn. There's the cartridge box.
Every one of those would have a red, white, and blue. They're just showing that this is red, blue, and white. But each one would have a different, basically, each division or brigade would have their own color.
Yep.
And each battalion, or I'm sorry, I'm getting it confused.
These say core on them.
Yeah, each corps would have their own specific shape. Then I think division was color, and then brigade, I think that would be up to each person or each company or whatnot.
Yeah, in the chat it confirms what you just said, Trey. Is each color is for a different division, not brigade.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because this red circle is the First Army Corps, and then it goes numerically down the column: first, second, third.
Yeah, I think there's more than just those. These are just the main common ones that you would see.
Okay. Yeah, because this is stuff I didn't know about.
Yep. And it would be and I think each battalion, brigade, division, or corps would come up with where they would want to put them. You would see them on the side of wagon, the curtain on the wagon.
Yep.
They would place them on the side of that. Sometimes it would be on, like I said, it depends on each one. It's kind of like World War II, where each division and brigade, whatever, had their own SOP. Sometimes it'd be on their chest, the left chest over their heart. Sometimes it'd be on the middle of their kepi. If they had a slouch hat, they would put it on the front of the slouch hat or Hardee.
Do we have any pictures of that? Of like actual pictures, or would it just be reenactment that would be able to find that?
No, you definitely can find. I can see if I can look real quick. There's definitely pictures of it. So
because I never knew any of this, that they actually had unit patches even back then.
So I'll share.
Yeah, me either. Yep.
So it came around, I think, like 63, because I think one of the famous stories was a major colonel was coming down the street and he just started chewing somebody's ass out. And he's like, "Why aren't your men moving while you're all sitting on the damn fence post, et cetera, et cetera?" And the officer let his ass get chewed out. And he was like, pardon me, sir, but we don't belong to your corps. We belong, or your division or whatnot. We belong to another one. He's like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'll go about my business." Those are original hats. Let me see if I can find.
Let me pull that over there. Close that. Come on, close. Thank you. Oh, like this one with the red cross right in the center and the blue diamond right in the center.
Yep. So that would be, if you zoom in, it would be what?
Open image and
Six
new tab.
6 core. Let's see if I can find a picture.
Let me share that real quick. Like, it's that one.
So this one, or this picture.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yes, it'd be
Okay.
6th Corps, 1st Division.
Here's another one.
Yep. And all it is just a piece of colored wool, and they sew it on. So it was quick, it was cheap, it was fast, and it did a lot of work. And like I said, if you go to today, the 101st Airborne, they still have them on the side of their helmets. It's
yep. The
It's-
spade. It's
yep.
yeah. It's just the.
Yep.
That's as big as it gets. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. But yeah, I get it.
So here's another one. This is on his chest. Now you can't really tell what division, but I believe it looks like it's the
That's a Maltese cross.
Yeah, it's a Maltese. It looks like.
Oops.
Here's another one that he's got it on his shaped Hardee, which is awesome.
Pin this one. There we go. Come on, share. Thank you.
And this is where like investigational history starts really taking off the Civil War because of photos.
All right, can you zoom in, Jake?
Anything
Who is
prior to that?
That's really about the best we can get because I don't. I'm not.
You can...
Hold on a sec. I can
So that-
probably.
Actually, that guy right there, the badge maker, he makes badges.
Oh, that's the best you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right there on his
Yep.
chest.
Yeah, you can see it, but like, yeah, it's.
So yeah, some people altered to instead of sewing on colored wool, they would actually get a badge made. That fella, the badge maker, he makes badges and other stuff too. If you go to his website, he's got a. I bought several things from him as far as like badges and matchbook cases, etc. He's a pretty good dude.
There's somebody asking in chat for you, Trey. What side do you do reenactments on?
Both. I've done officer, I've done artillery, I've done infantry, mostly infantry. It's pretty amazing to do, especially around here, because you can just go anywhere and be on the battlefield and reenact. It's pretty awesome. I've never done cavalry just because it's very niche. You have to. It's frowned upon to do cavalry if you don't have a horse.
And again, because it's Pinterest, that's as
Yeah,
that's as big as you're gonna get.
He's
But
got his
it's up
jump
on
wings though on his Stetson. That's nice. You see what I mean?
yeah.
This guy is the first fucking army parachutist. Damn.
Chad, he's got his officer pants on too, not just the sky blues. So this is probably, it can't be early war, but it's probably
that shoulder board. Kind of looks like it might be major.
Yeah, it could be major, it could be lieutenant colonel. Not sure.
Yeah.
And the thing too, if you can zoom in with the NARA, you could tell the buttons too. The buttons would have A, I, C, or other. Obviously, A for artillery, I for infantry, C for cavalry. But then you had like ordnance.
Oh, wait a
corps
second.
buttons.
Wait a second. Todd B in the chat said future Supreme Court Justice Holmes.
Ooh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr.
Yep.
Shit. So this guy survived and then went on to be a Supreme Court justice. Can somebody, Jamie, Google it. Come on.
Look it up.
You got it.
Hi, buddy. Want to come up here? No? Fine. Be that way. Little runt. Yeah, Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. He was a U.S. Supreme Court Justice from 1902 to 1932.
Damn. 32?
Yeah.
That guy lived a long fucking time.
Oh, it gets better than that. I got to share this.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Just go ahead and.
This guy has the most epic mustache ever.
Oh damn! It's
Look at that mustache.
Pretty legit.
he's in the American Civil War and he's now a Supreme Court justice with what a hell of a fucking stash.
Yeah, but
That is fucking awesome.
But he doesn't have the name after him though. I mean, you look at Burnside. Look at General Burnside.
Yeah.
Like it's named after him.
Yeah.
Sideburns.
Yes. Check that shit out.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah. Everyone knows who Burnside is.
No,
but yeah,
that's awesome.
That first of all, I want one of those Hardee hats because those look fucking sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, like so the ones that were posted, they went to I think the Manassas NPS. So he does it's all done by hand. He does not.
Yeah. So who else would wear the Hardee hats besides the 2nd Wisconsin?
Pretty much all garrison troops because it was a garrison hat. It was a
no in combat. I should have specified.
In combat, I don't know if too many other guys. Well, actually, no, I take that back. A majority of guys on the Western Theater wore them, but like I said, they modified them so they would be more user friendly because they're not like I said. They're tall. They're wide up.
Yeah, it's a top hat basically. Is what it is.
So they would rip out the former inside, and then they would like pinch it to make it look more like a fedora, kind of, and it would be more. It would be more,
really?
Yeah.
Can you please put a picture of that, like a modified one? I'm actually just really curious about that.
Yeah, they call it. It's not really named. It's just kind of a formed.
Yeah. No, but I just want to see what they would look like because, it's a fucking top hat, and
let's see.
In combat, why the fuck? It's like us wearing like a visor cap.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like out into combat, like like a dress hat
or a garrison cap.
Well, yeah, a cunt cap, but like we don't have those anymore. We have.
Well, I got to take my headset off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the future garrison cap.
Oh, you actually have your beret.
No, I bought a new one because I lost my fucking old one because it was whatever.
I think I still have mine, but it's like super small now.
Like,
it's
fucking close.
I never really knew what side the garrison cap was supposed to be tilted to.
Oh, the one I sent you? That's
the one you sent me.
The guys, okay, so a lot of the guys, really quick side note, while he's searching for pictures of the modified Hardee hat, they would literally, I have mine sewn up in the middle on the top of the cunt. They would sew them up because they were like, this is a cunt cap. They literally called that in the First World War.
Yeah.
And they would sew it up so it was like a garrison cap, like a pointy one.
There you go.
So, all right, Jake, you want to share that or you want me to? Or...
I got it. I got it.
Ah. Oh, fuck you.
So this is just the standard Hardee.
Yep.
So it's inside. It has like a canvas painted. It's thick. They would rip that out. So and then they would just take it and they would just pinch it in the front right here, which was not regulation because it's not a regulation.
Jake, you're on the right page for sharing. Or are you?
Oh, yeah. Here, pictures aren't loading though.
Yeah, let's wait for that. So the Hardee hat. So these guys, so the 2nd Wisconsin guys went into combat with unmodified Hardee hats that had the brim.
No, I think some of them did shape them eventually because all they are.
Oh shit!
Yeah, all they are. Yep, that's it.
I think that's it.
Oh shit!
That's a Hardee that's been shaped. He's taken he's taken the former out and just pinched it, and it's more, civilian looking. It's more
well, and the brim has been rained on and wetted down.
Yeah.
You can tell it's like just floppy.
Yep, and he unpinned the left side.
Because I mean, if you look at mine, just sitting on the shelf. It's
Yeah.
sitting on other hats. It has.
Did you find one of my hedgehogs?
Yeah, it's got some sternness to it.
But from my understanding, a lot
You
of
don't want to be up
Westerners,
here. Okay.
like Shiloh, etc., they form the crap out of them. They're like, I don't really care. I don't want to look the part. You know, this is.
Yeah. So like the second Wisconsin, you're saying is like one of the only dumb units that would like have them in their most close
In their garrison form.
Yeah, because they took
combat.
pride in them. Now there was, you have a few guys that like, you know what?
Oh yeah.
Once it gets rained on, because you're out in the field, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not out there with a press board keeping it flat.
Why
all
the
time.
fuck did the second Wisconsin? Why did they use those? Why didn't they just use forage caps or?
It's all state based. Like look at New York. New York had like that 13 button shell jacket.
Probably
True.
because we had a Command Sergeant Major Zimmy.
Probably. Like certain federal troops, they would take their the infield that they got from the English.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's got to be in the white. It's like, but the fucking bluing, it's not perfect, but it keeps rust off. They're like, it needs to shine everything. Like, what the fuck, man?
So yeah, this shit's been going on forever. And like,
Yep.
this is another reason that people want to join the army, and they're like, oh, what? It's like, what good decisions are made ever by your upper leadership? You might make a good decision, but it's not going to be approved.
Yeah.
It's like, nope. Oh my god. So they fucking. So do you know why they kept them? Besides what Jake just said, like they had a overzealous sergeant major.
Well, a lot of guys do like wide brimmed hats because they do protect from the sun.
Sure.
They are a little bit better waterproof. You get the rain comes off your back, etc. So a lot of people did like slouch hats, especially the Confederacy. The Kepi was not a fan favorite of the Confederate forces just because it's like a farm hat. You put it on, you got sun coverage, rain coverage, etc. But I think it was more of a pride thing once they started, like the black hats. We're the only ones that really have them in war because they were more of a garrison thing. And once people were like,
so
hey,
why would they think that would? What was? Do you know like the logic or the process behind like? Okay, it's a garrison hat. Yeah, I get that, but like, why would they take pride in that if it's a garrison hat?
I think a psychological thing. Once they found out, because you're not going to carry a lot of hats with you. You're going to carry what you can on you.
Yeah.
So I think they chose that. That's what they were issued. The state didn't issue them kepis or whatnot.
For sure, yeah.
And that's what they went off with.
And they just went off at that, and they were like, "Fuck it, we're gonna wear these fucking things."
Yep.
God damn.
Ravishing the bucktails, that was a thing too. They would I can't remember what unit it was, but they would put bucktails in their kepis, in their hats. They weren't a full-fledged sniper unit, but they were like sharpshooters. That was pretty cool.
Who was this?
Pennsylvania unit. I can't remember. It was like a 93rd or something like that. Yeah, Ravishing, he might be able to narrow it down, but he was talking about the bucktails right there.
Yeah, it's really weird, like how all the different units in the American Civil War, like Confederate and Union, were so different on their SOP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Complete. There was no uniform. There was kind of some uniformity, but not really. But like
for federal, it was. Majority of them had the sack coat, which was very ergonomical. But if you want to see a complete shit show, I'd love to go back in time just to be one of the civilians watching the Manassas battle, because the New York troops showed up in gray.
Do you know a lot of the Confederate guys? They're wearing like fucking sky blue pants and fucking sack coats and shit.
It was each company or battalion, brigade. They all had like their own thing. Like certain units showed up wearing exactly what their ancestors wore in the Rev War. Tricorn hats.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah.
That's what they were doing.
Yep, they had Havelocks on, which is basically just a white cover that goes over your
yeah.
kepi to protect your neck. On paper, it seems great, but you're just turning your hat into a greenhouse, and it's just hot as shit.
Oh fuck yeah! Especially
Yeah.
when they were fighting. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's hot and humid. It's hotter than a rattlesnake's taint out there.
Yep.
And it's like, fuck. That's it. I mean, there's so many things about the American Civil War that I don't know, and it's cool to learn these little tidbits because I've always wondered. Like, I thought it was cool, you know, the guys that are the lineage of the unit that I was in, and Jake was in, wore Hardee hats into combat, and I'm like, well, wait, why didn't anybody else really do that? Oh,
There was a
they're
few
heavy.
people. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was a few. It was like it was not the norm. It's like, why were they so stupid to do that? Oh, well, it's a heavy hat. It doesn't breathe at all. It's a garrison cap, but they still did it, and it's like pride, I guess. At that point, yes, I understand the pride thing.
Mhm.
I get that because it was like, we're going to be different and we're going to look bad at, because also, so, okay, something just crossed my mind, Trey, and correct me if I'm wrong. In the early 19th century, and even before that, the taller the hat that was on somebody, the bigger they looked, or they thought so, right?
Kind of like, yeah, because that's how, ironically, Lincoln was like, what, 6'5" or some shit. He was stupid tall, and he wore tall. He wore a
string
tall
bean though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, extremely. Yeah.
Yep.
I think they called somebody, one of his opponents in Congress, called him like a lanky gorilla.
Oh, dude, I've looked at pictures of him. He's a literal string bean. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, you're 6'5", but you weigh $180 tops.
So-
Tops.
So
The way
looking back through chat, Todd B said the Iron Brigade commander John Gibbon insisted that the entire Iron Brigade wear dress uniforms in combat, not just the 2nd Wisconsin.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Which Iron Brigade though? That's the thing. Is like, okay, we're talking about the 2nd
Like
Wisconsin.
the Iron Brigade.
Yeah. So
the
2nd and the 4th.
Everything underneath John Gibbon apparently.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know that
What I said was basically correct. We had an officer Zimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was our
Mike
first
knows
sergeant
who I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, and it's it was our first sergeant, and he was a fucking absolute terrible fucking first sergeant, and absolutely fucking awful.
Terrible first sergeant or terrible human being?
I don't think he's a terrible human being. I think he's a very insecure human being. I don't think he's a very terrible human being.
So there's a brain fart. So the infantry cross rifles insignia uses a 1795 Springfield musket, and so I've been keeping an eye out for reproduction ones that are fireable. And there's a website that I have here that they are in stock. Granted,
okay, so really quick, we'll get back to that when Trey gets back, which he is. But really quick, Todd B said, okay, so the Iron Brigades were 2nd Wisconsin, 19th Indiana, 6th Wisconsin, 7th Wisconsin, and 24th Michigan. Noticing a pattern here.
Yeah.
Noticing a pattern. Upper Midwest.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's because all those units came from. They when you enlisted, they usually put units together under a certain command, and they all came from his certain command. So you wouldn't get I wouldn't go that far, because I think a California unit did get rolled in with, I think, under Gibbon maybe. Something.
But
like
these
that.
were all the regiments that were considered the Iron Brigade.
Mm-hmm.
You don't fuck with these guys, because if you find them on the field, it's not going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of how it went.
Yep.
Yeah. So
remember the was it Glory we did? I had that big ass can. They gave me shit for it.
What big ass can?
The can of beer, from the brewery.
Oh, the 64-ouncer?
Yeah. So I went there today. I was texting you earlier. I was like, yeah, I'm here. I'll be back. So I was going to grab one and bring it back. And they have a growler and a crowler. Didn't know the difference. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a growler. Yeah. This is the goddamn crowler.
It's a 64-ounce, right?
Loose Shoe Brewing Company.
Yeah, I mean, you're good.
No, I don't think it's 64. I don't know what the hell this is.
What does it say on it?
It's
It should say-
64. 64.
That's a half gallon.
Half gallon.
Half gallon of fucking strong beer.
Yeah.
Let's
Send
fucking
some our way.
go.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great night, boys.
Send some our
Well,
way.
Well, before we start doing that, I'm gonna take a piss.
And it's an
Is,
IPA, so
no, this is really cool. Like,
worthless.
I'm not going to be
Hardee-
drinking because I got to go to work in the morning.
you don't fucking work, you drive.
Yeah, it sounds like an excuse to me.
I got federal DOT regs saying I can't drink.
But no, anyway, really quick before I leave for a second, is Todd B is usually really quiet and just like says random dumb shit, and I get pissed off, and we go back and forth. Like he's fucking whatever. But now
Well,
we've
his
got him
picture-
fired up, and
yeah.
like he's
Well, his
actually
His picture looks like
providing-
he's
yeah, he's providing good information. So the 2nd Wisconsin, 19th Indiana, 6th Wisconsin, 7th Wisconsin, and 24th Michigan. It's weird because 3 out of 5 of those are from
Wisconsin.
a state that I'm familiar with. I don't know what it is, Trey. I don't know what it is.
Those
Don't
damn
fuck with
cheese
our National
eaters.
Guard. Don't fuck with our state guard.
well,
Don't do it.
like we talked about in the review of one of the movies. Like the army prior to the Civil War was like 30,000 guys from East
if
Coast
that,
to
yeah.
West Coast.
Yeah.
You had 2
it's like-
fucking armories for the whole U.S. Harper's and Springfield.
Well, then, do you know what happened? Like when World War I kicked off, do you know what happened with all those old units and shit? Okay.
Because
I'm gonna take a
I'm not.
piss.
I'm not. That's a.
No. And that's the thing is like, I want to
He's setting
you
up a
about World War I.
segue to the. He's setting up a segue to the next topic.
So I'm going to tell you about like the 2nd and the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 8th Wisconsin volunteer. Every fucking volunteer infantry regiment from every state had a cool path, and it'll make a lot of sense to you. Your mind is probably going to be blown a little bit, but it's going to be cool. Let me take a piss and take a 5-minute break, and then I will be back
Wow.
and explain it to you.
He's giving
Wow.
you shit, Todd. Just say thanks.
Oh no, Todd's not going to be pissed. Again, Todd and I have literally gone back and forth on streams. Like I've gotten pissed off at him,
Kick his ass, Seabass.
and I'm just like, we go back and forth. He's just chatting and whatever.
Todd,
and
why
I'm
aren't
like,
Todd, why aren't you supporting him on Patreon so you can join the Discord?
I think Todd's a boomer. So
Yeah, we all know how Mike is with boomers.
no, but here's the thing: is Todd he knows his shit, but there's some times where he doesn't, and it's like that's when I get pissed off, and I'm like, oh fuck you, and I get all mad because I'm like irritated by the other comments.
Yeah, he's a boomer.
Explain Discord exactly. I told you, Jake. I fucking told you. He's a boomer that has a lot of knowledge, doesn't understand Discord. So
Doesn't
I'll be back in
understand
5.
technology. Yeah, how do I turn on that there computer?
or he's trolling.
Well,
Probably
Shannon,
the latter.
just pretend you're talking to your dad, Jake.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, not
No.
that bad.
No.
He's
No.
trolling. He's trolling.
Oh
Well-
yeah, Todd. No, Todd and I. He's been commenting on my shit since about 2014 or 15. So like we know each other. But this is the most active I've ever seen. Anyway, 5 minutes. I gotta fucking piss, guys. I gotta fucking piss.
What about the
I'm not the one who was stopping him from pissing.
what did you put what the 1795?
Oh, I was talking to my because the current U.S. Army cross rifle infantry cross rifles
Okay. Yeah.
is the 1795.
Yeah.
I've been looking for a reproduction functional 1795 for over a decade, and this Dixie Gunworks sells them when they're in stock.
Yeah, they're. You could probably find them cheaper. Let me see.
Like these are modern, these are new production ones. That's why I
Yeah,
linked this
yeah.
one. So because I want one that I can actually shoot instead of just a wall hanger.
There it is. Let's see if they have any. I bought from this place before.
Yeah, guys. My home defense gun is a Mossberg 590A1. It's actually up there on the wall, off camera in the blur. Not going to unblur because I'm in my bedroom, and my bedroom's a mess right now because I just got home from being on the road for 2 days.
Where in the world?
Here's one from Veteran Arms LLC. Same thing for $100 less. Expected in 60 days. It's back ordered.
Veteran, I think I've ordered from them too.
Veteran Arms.
Yeah, I'm trying to navigate this old ass website that I used to.
I'd love to get 2 of them and turn them into a cross rifles display above my fireplace.
Yeah,
I don't know how my wife would feel about that though. She'd probably be okay with it.
I wish I once he gets back, I'll send it to him. Somebody was asking me at work that is, yeah, you got a man cave, don't you? I was like, dude, the whole house is a man cave because I live alone. So last year for Christmas, I took my muskets and stacked them and wrapped Christmas tree lights and stuff around them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ravishing, I'll do you a favor real quick. So this is the Spencer I have. It's a reproduction.
No.
I was-
No. Okay, off the stream.
Pew 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 pew.
Off the stream.
Oh yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yep,
YouTube
no.
doesn't like guns.
Yeah. I literally. Yeah.
Even though he's got a wall full of them
Exactly.
behind him.
Behind them, yeah.
You cannot touch them.
Oh, is that what it is? Fuck
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's exactly what it is. It's you cannot touch them and handle them.
Huh.
So,
yes,
just,
it is a Chiappa repro. They take a lot of work to be functional because the spring's not great. It's got a plastic follower. You got to replace those. S&S Firearms allows you to replace all those parts, which is great.
I hear the pitter patter of little feet approaching.
if the stream gets zapped, I'm just gonna start a new one. So.
Oh well, it's
fine.
far enough in. They probably aren't paying attention. I think they really only care if it's like in the first 10 minutes.
No, not true.
Really?
Ask me how I know.
Fucking YouTube.
Yeah, right. No, I should have said that beforehand, but yeah,
That's all
it's
good.
You should
Anyway,
be simulcasting to Rumble.
Yeah.
yes, but anyway, so Trey.
Yeah.
So 1916 rolls around. All these the state guard units get deployed to the Mexican border, right? Bunch of them. They're still under like the 2nd Wisconsin, the 4th Wisconsin, all that shit, right? They get down there. 1917 rolls around. And they go, well, all these state guard units just pulled federal equipment that they bought, like 1903s and haversacks and everything. But we're going to have to make a huge military at this point, the American Expeditionary Force. So they started they had like the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and a few other divisions made up already, right? Where they pulled like regiments from the active duty army. And they're like, we just need to organize this more into like the 1st division. It wasn't called the infantry division. It was called the 1st division, 2nd division, 3rd division, all that shit, right? And so they went to the National Guard units and they said, all right, well, it starts basically the 26th through the 40 or 50th. At this point, I think it was the 45th divisions. And so what they did is they made all these state guard units into regiments of a federal numbered unit. So,
Okay.
for example, the 32nd, like the Wisconsin and Michigan regiments, the state guard regiments, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, and 8th, or something like that, or 7th. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, they were like, you are now, okay, these regiments are in the 125th Infantry Regiment of the Federal Army, the United States Army. These are in the 126th. These are in the 127th, and these are in the 128th. And above that, you're in the 32nd Division.
Gotcha.
And that happened through most states. So like you get the 33rd, which is the Illinois National Guard, basically, right? The cross, and the insignia didn't come till later, but like that's what they did is they took all these state guard units and they gave them a federal number at that point. Very interesting. And so yeah, all these guys, and so it was funny because there was 3 types of units in the First World War. There was U.S. Army, okay? There was U.S. National Guard, and there was U.S. National Army. So the U.S. Army was the guys who were active duty, and then the few guys that came after them that were in active duty units, and they were among the first to be deployed to France, right? The second one, the U.S. National Guard, was units that were already equipped, and they just had to go to training, and then they would go over to France. So they were the second ones there. And then there was the U.S. National Army, which is pretty much everybody past about, I don't know, July of 1917 that were draftees, and like they were making new units and everything. That's where you get the 82nd, you know, all that shit, like way up there. And the 77th and all these other units you hear about.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's like the American Civil War, it's like they still had their state regimental colors and like insignia. And same with the Spanish American War, they still had that to an extent. And then World War I, it's like, nope, you're all federal now. You got your federal numbers. So if you notice, like, there's units like in the Army now that like are National Guard. And
Yeah.
that's been that way since World War I, right?
Yeah.
There's units that have been active duty, been that way since World War I, or sometimes World War II, but like very few were created at that point. But like yeah, and then you get to a certain point, it's all like again active army. So it's like really weird to think about that. But yeah, it's 28th Pennsylvania National Guard. Yep.
I think I've seen some 28th ID guys in Iraq.
Well, we did. We absolutely did. Yep.
Yeah, I saw the Keystone. I'm like, yep, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we saw Pennsylvania. We saw North Carolina. We saw the 30th. You know.
Yep.
And we saw, what was the other unit? So it was 30th, 28th, and then I think that was actually it for Iraq. Afghanistan was a different thing. Like we really didn't see them a lot except for Kuwait. But like yeah, and then the guys that replaced us were the 36th, the Texas guys.
Yep.
And so yeah, it's like,
yeah, the Bloody Buckets. They were the ones that held the line during the Hurtgen Forest campaign.
Well, they tried
right
their
before.
best.
Right before the Battle of the Bulge.
Well, you know, the Hurtgen Forest and the Ardennes Forest are pretty
right
far
next
apart.
to each other.
No, they're pretty far apart.
They're not?
Yeah, they're pretty far apart. And the 28th, there was a couple battalions of 28th guys like in the Ardennes, because they were like, oh well, it's going to be a huge battle up here. And then when the Ardennes happened, those guys are pulling security basically on their flank, like a
yeah, but the Hurtgen, I like the Hurtgen Forest because I like the Hurtgen Forest because it's a piece of World War II history that nobody fucking knows about, because the Battle of the Bulge happened
it was
days later.
Right, it was way worse than the Battle of the Bulge.
It was a meat grinder,
fucking bloodbath. It was absolutely fucking like, Trey. You know about the Hurtgen Forest, right?
It was rough as shit, man. It's hilly. It's cold.
And it's
They
just
used
you can't see
artillery.
anything.
Yeah, it was artillery everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They tore the
And
trees all to shreds.
You're fucked. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like that. There were oh god, I'm gonna be so bad. Division names. Or
And
like
the
not
line
names.
and the lines on both sides of the Hurricane Forest were super thin.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they were just fighting to the fucking end.
Mm-hmm.
The Germans were like convinced that, okay, if these guys break through, they're gonna fucking rape and pillage and do everything. But I've already been here for fucking. I've been fighting since Normandy or Operation Cobra. Like I don't have any energy left. I'm done. And it's like
and the Americans didn't have any supplies, and they didn't have any personnel by that point.
Right, for the Hurricane, yeah.
Yeah, for Hurricane.
Because they were all going down to Bastogne.
Yeah.
They were like, this is where we gotta break through. We gotta halt the advance. It's like, well, yeah. Also in the Hurricane Forest, like, not good.
I think the only reason why the Hurricane Forest didn't get overrun was because the bulge happened in Bastogne. Is because Germany didn't have any resources to press in the Hurricane.
Yeah, I think so as well. But like, yeah, Che, what do you think about that?
Ravishing Ronald says 28th was moved to the Ardennes after Hurtgen to rest, and then they were the first ones hit when the Germans attacked in December. So they got their asses handed to them in Hurtgen. They got pulled off the line and moved to Bastogne to rest, and then they got their asses hit again.
Right. Yep.
Oh, those bastards. Those poor, poor bastards.
That's why they call it a bloody bucket.
Yeah.
They got their asses.
So I'll share this. Whenever I think of Hurricane, that's the photo that I see, or the photo I think of.
Trey, okay, so we're gonna unboomer you for a second. You have a photo, right? You got a tab.
What do you
Go
mean?
down, dude. Nothing is gonna get through unless I know it is. Hit on StreamYard. Hit present.
Yeah, hit present, but then it goes to the slides or video file. If I go to slides, it goes to Google Slides or your computer.
Click share screen.
Share screen.
Okay.
Go to your tab that it's open on.
Okay. All right. 'Cause I thought it was going to like share another video.
No. Nope. And also, it's not going to be. It has to go through me first. Okay, so this is a photo. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Whenever I think of Hurricane, that's the photo that I think of right there.
Fuck that.
Yep.
Are those GIs with MG42s?
Wait a second.
Yeah, they've taken over. They've taken over enemy position.
Damn. Excellent fighting position, by the way. But like,
yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 MGs in one hole. That's kind of weird. But I think there's a bunker to the right. You see the hole.
I gotta find this one fucking picture. That's one fucking picture that I think is very. Of course. It's all about the movie. Like, the movie sucked.
Which one was that?
When Trumpets Feign.
I think I saw that like one time.
Yeah, it was an HBO production.
So did you ever see the while you're looking for that? Did you ever see the Hetcham's grenade?
The what grenade?
Yeah, looking through pictures of the Hurricane Forest campaign, it's like that would be terrible terrain to try to fight in.
It's absolutely fucking awful. It's thick fucking woods with emplacements on the German side.
Well, you can't see more than 30 yards in any direction.
Did you see the picture?
Okay, so what are we looking at?
That is a Ketchum's grenade.
Looks like an RKG-3.
It was a early war design grenade for the U.S. for the Federals. So basically, that bulb is cast iron, and you would unscrew the thing at the bottom. That's not a stand. That's the plate. You would unscrew that. It had black powder in it. You put a percussion cap for a pistol or a rifle in it, screw it back in, and you would just throw it like a lawn dart or a Nerf football.
Oh, are we back on Civil War?
Yeah. Why
Yep,
like your why
we
you for that? Yep. But that is the Ketchum's grenade. And there's a few that are original. I don't know if these are original or not, but there's a few because they didn't detonate right. They kind of landed sideways. But yeah, that was kind of a wild design somebody come up with. They had a few different grenades like that.
Yeah, they didn't really get better until like World War One, and even then they were still like fucked,
Yeah.
like so unsafe and like.
Oh well, here's a worse one. As far as shit on that, I wouldn't want to do that. So that ball in the center is filled with black powder, and then each of one of those cones or nipples, whatever you want to call it, you'd have a musket cap on it. You would take the outside of the two, screw them together, and then gently toss it. And then when it made contact, it would go off and explode.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't like modern grenades that much.
Like I said, you just like toss it. No. And then you have no idea. Like it lands in the grass, it doesn't go off. You toss it back. No.
No thanks. I don't like modern grenades that much, and modern grenades are safer than that.
Yep.
The problem I'm having is like all these fucking pictures I'm trying to like get are like blurry as shit boomer pictures from like 2002, and I'm like, just fucking. Whatever. Let's just move on. But like, it's. I mean,
Come
the
on.
Hurricane Forest is like really like. I value that battle more than the Battle of the Bulge, you know, because it's like Band of Brothers and whatever. That fucking battle was absolutely insane, and it was like, you know, you had the little bit of snowfall, but it was a forest, and obviously, like you guys, both you and I have like, you know, you guys and I have shot rifles in the woods. You shoot one round, your ears are fucking ringing from your rifle.
Yeah.
Because the echo, it's like imagine a firefight happening with 8mm, 30-06, 9mm, 45 ACP, and 30 carbine.
Well, you could definitely hear the ping when the M1's out.
Okay, I love you, Trey, for this.
I fucking hate that so much. Like,
dude, I made a video. Did you do a video on that?
I know.
They'd throw an empty one against the receiver to make the Germans think they were empty.
Why won't that?
Dude, that's what I said in a lot of comments where people were still like they didn't get it. I'm like, have you ever fired an M1 rifle without earplugs?
Yeah,
because I have. It's instant. No,
it's a tinnitus machine.
What?
It's a tinnitus machine.
Somebody else.
Tinnitus?
Tinnitus?
Tetanus.
Either way is like a proper medical term. Yep.
Tetanus.
There's another guy in Europe who did a video on it, and he like was shooting his rifle. He put different loads in 5, 6, 8, 3, and he had his buddy around the corner. He's like, "When you hear me out, run," and it proved it. And then he goes into another, like you were in your videos, like,
yep.
Why would you be the only fucking person on the line with a rifle? Like you're in a rifle squad or a fire team.
Well, there's that. Yes.
And God forbid you're in Normandy or some shit and you've just been pounded by artillery for the past, month.
Wherever you are, you're in the Hurricane Forest. Okay. You're in the Hurricane Forest. We'll just go because it's recent.
I think that's it. Bloke on the range. I think that's who it is.
Yeah, bloke on the range. Yeah. And it's like, dude, when you fire that shit, especially in an enclosed area like Normandy or the Hurricane Forest, your ears are ringing so loud, it gives you a headache. It really does. It's fucked up. And so
People don't understand how loud a 30-06 is.
well, that's the thing is like the people that are like, well, yeah, the ping, like I could hear it. It's like you're wearing an ear pro.
Right,
And
dude, try shooting 100 rounds without ear pro, and then see if you can hear anything.
you can't. And that's why these cool things called hand signals exist. Like, hey, ceasefire, ceasefire.
I would do my hand, and then
Yep.
Knife hand.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could do a. Well, no, I won't do that.
the bloods that we did.
Yes, shut up, shut up. You know about that? Just
That went
shut up.
hard left,
dude. And I'm glad.
and it became the thumbnail.
I know, and that's the thing is like out of almost 3 fucking hours, that was the thumbnail.
I missed something here.
I didn't do
No,
it. Like,
yeah,
I don't
Jake.
know how to do it.
We did a live stream, not me and or was that
Yeah,
you? Were
I
you
was
on
there.
that one?
I was
Yeah, you
there.
were on that one because Michael. We were like trying to figure out how to do like the fucking. I'm not gonna do it here, but
The
like
symbol.
the blood symbol,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah,
The gang sign.
Yep.
We were throwing out random gang signs at the end, and like we're a bunch of idiots. And all of a
and
sudden,
you tried
Michael
and you
comes out,
tried
he goes,
doing the bloods.
No,
I
I
know,
didn't.
I know how to do it. I'm not gonna do it though.
Yeah,
And so we did that, and then we were like, "Oh, that's retarded. Like, we should probably just end the stream now."
and
so
and that ended up being the thumbnail.
Yes,
it
100%.
ended up being the thumbnail. I was like Michael doing his thing,
Ah,
you know. And
what a Chad.
I'm like, well, okay, shit. But
Hey, you know, I be getting misers and shit. Real talk.
shit, no real talk, man. You ain't got shit on me, man. You ain't got shit on me, man. You wearing a fucking,
No, I'm
you
saying.
wearing a fucking cap.
Did you
faggot
feel
cap.
me? Did you feel me? Did you feel me, cut?
Okay, all right, let's.
You-
Christ,
You're
fuck.
not gonna get real street cred until you change your name to Didn't Do Nothing.
Yeah, didn't do. I was
Didn't do nothing. Didn't do.
Didn't do.
I
Didn't
didn't
do.
do nothing.
Didn't
I
do.
didn't do nothing.
I just killed 3 people and robbed everybody and
I didn't do nothing.
Didn't do.
drinking my 40 and shit. You know, shit.
My Glock 40 and shit. It's a high.
It's a high point.
Yep,
Yes.
it's a high point. My Glock 40.
Bryco
Yeah.
Jennings.
Yeah, Glock 22 is a lot better than a fucking high point 40. See, but here's the cool thing, Trey, is I have a high point 380 CF, right? I don't know if you saw my video about like because it was years ago when I got this thing. I literally walked in and I was picking up I was doing a transfer, like I had picked up a transfer for a pistol for me. And this old dude came in there and he goes, I just don't like this thing. I just can't get it to work. I said, what do you got there? He goes, it's a high point. I said, okay. Long story short, we got into negotiating and he's like, like they wouldn't buy it. Like the gun store wouldn't buy it because they're like, yeah, it's a high point, whatever.
It's
And I said,
stolen. Let's kill people. We can't.
No. He bought it. Like he bought it rightfully so. And I said, well, how much do you want for it? He goes, I don't know. Like, and I said, what are you looking to get today? He goes, a box of 45 long Colt. I said, I'll buy that thing for you if you're willing to like say that I'm the owner of this pistol right now. He goes, yeah, I just want to get rid of it. I said, okay, I'll buy your box of 45 long Colt. And then I'll just have this transferred because I'm doing a transfer right now.
Yeah.
I got a fucking high point for $35.
Fuck yeah.
And honestly, I brought it out to the range. I fixed the sight because he was an idiot and didn't know how to do that. I put the ghost ring sight on the back. Never had a malfunction with it. It worked flawlessly and it's insanely accurate.
Now you can go rob banks and 7-Elevens and shit and be a burner gun, you know?
I don't have the balls to do that. I'm a pussy. I'm a
You also
pussy.
can't run fast enough.
Yeah,
Correct.
See, you're thinking of like shop and rob. Like you just gotta be like, walk in with a trench coat, I give you the money, and then put it away and walk out like nothing ever happened.
But The actual serious story is I got a fucking pistol that works really well. It's not aesthetically pleasing.
No,
it's a little bit heavy, but I got it for $35.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have a problem with High Point. I really don't. Everybody knocks on High Point. Oh, that's a gangster gun. You're gonna pay $100 for that. Blah blah blah. It's like it's a fucking $100 gun that works every time you pull the trigger.
Correct.
for the most
Never
part.
had a malfunction. And
so for most people who don't know, when I worked the road as a law enforcement officer, we found out if you grind the serial number off, the manufacturer who makes the guns places extra serial numbers in other places that are hidden. So good luck.
I knew that. They do the same thing with VIN numbers on cars.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. You have to like melt that thing.
Like you have to literally go to the manufacturer. I've got a degree in law enforcement. But my traffic law instructor said, yeah, when we were doing recovery of like chop shop cars, we would go to the manufacturer and say, hey, this is what we have. Where are the hidden serial numbers on it? Or where are the hidden VINs on it? So we can identify what car this actually is. And they had to go to the manufacturers to get that information that wasn't publicly available. They had to go with a subpoena.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
it's like a High Point. It's like, yeah.
I don't have any issues with High Points. Would I own one? Would I buy one myself with my own money?
For $35,
maybe
Jake. For $35,
for $35, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, definitely.
Like, yeah, you would absolutely.
Like one thing I really want to do. One thing I really want to do is I want to get a High Point carbine. I don't know, 9mm, 10mm, something.
The carbines are fun.
I want to get a High Point carbine, and I want to prove that if you don't fuck with it and use aftermarket mags, there's nothing wrong with it as far as a functional gun.
Correct.
I want to be able to prove that, if you're gonna be, wilderness backpacking, it's a decent survival / backpacking gun.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got. Never mind. Nope.
Can't touch it.
Can't touch it.
You touch it, you dirty bitch. Touch it.
No, I didn't touch it. I actually didn't touch it. Nope. But no, so the CF380, like, I made a video on that, and my dad and I went out to the range, and we were like, we got a bunch of 380 and a couple mags, and we were like, well, there's really nothing wrong with this pistol. Like,
no,
it works.
There's only one stipulation though. When you fire it, you have to grab your crotch, and you
haven't seen the video then. Yeah, I did. I definitely did.
Do you also have to have your pants hanging down below your ass cheeks to shoot it?
That's optional. You get extra gangster points if you do.
Exactly. That's no, but okay. Trey, like, honestly, like, we were out there and I was doing that, and I was actually hitting the target.
Oh my god! Yeah, I was going
to know how to
sideways.
That's the thing, is I actually know how to shoot a little bit, and so it's like,
well, everybody knows if you do that, you get like a few extra FPS on it.
Trey, let me go back and get this fucking link for you so you can watch it later. I have to, because you have to watch this fucking thing.
Get a milling machine and mill the.
So going back up in the chat, Gunslinger says he's looking for a number 4 Mark 1. Do you like the number 1 Mark 4 or number 4 Mark 1 or the number 1 Mark 3 better?
The number 4.
I like the number 3. I mean the number 1 Mark 3.
I'm not a fan of so yeah, it's a good conversation to start up on. I don't like V-notch sights per se. Okay.
Yeah, go through better,
especially
but I don't know why.
Especially barrel mounted receiver.
Yeah.
V-notch sights. Long relief, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I grew up on the ghost ring sights that were in the back of the receiver.
Yeah. That's become like the new modern thing for everybody now.
Yes.
Like even the Russians with their AK-12s going with ghost sights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a personal preference. Like, I know a lot of people that can rock a number 1 Mark 3.
No,
I just
no, bud, that's not for you yet.
I don't.
You're too little for that. You're too little for that.
the number 4 Mark
on.
1 or 3 or whatever. But
Leave that alone, bud.
I like the number 1 Mark 3 better. I don't know why.
Well,
It's maybe nostalgia.
God damn it! No, never mind. Not
Yeah,
gonna
you
touch it.
touch it, you dirty.
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
spit on it. Yeah.
Again, I struggle with this the whole fucking time because I'm like,
You need to do these on Rumble where they don't care if you handle firearms.
my Rumble audience is a lot less than YouTube.
Use YouTube as an advertising platform.
You can do that too. Yeah.
Well, I simultaneously like post shit on Rumble all the time. I've been on Rumble for years now.
But like what you can do, and this is what other CCs do, is they'll simultaneously stream to both YouTube and Rumble. But then at like the 1 hour mark, they'll end the YouTube stream, and everything else will be on Rumble.
Not big enough for that yet.
Huge. It's great.
Huge. It's a huge thing.
Baby, I know all about social media. I use
Mike,
it
do you want a Lee Enfield magazine and some 303 British ammo? Because I have some that my dad acquired from his ex-wife, and I don't have
the magazine.
Yeah, it's just the magazine.
Yeah, everybody needs a clipazine.
Yeah, like what model? Do you know what it's for?
I don't even fucking know.
If I'm dumb to this, but if it's rounded, it's 303. If it's square, it's 308. But if he's at 303 ammo, it's probably 303.
It's 303.
But I'm talking about the magazine.
Trey, you're being
it's 303.
You're being a funny guy. You're being a funny guy right now.
No, seriously. If you get the post-war, the square box magazine,
it's 303.
308, but the rounded is 303.
It's 303. I'd have to go out to the shop and get it. And
yeah, so
that's
God damn. I wish I could just fucking grab these fucking things and show them.
Get it.
Every time you turn around, you should slap yourself.
Yeah. God, do it again.
No, he might actually start enjoying it after a while.
But you know what I'm saying, right? The magazine where it's like it's the
angle. No, see, you're talking about the Indian
exactly.
2As and 2A1.
That's
right?
what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's one that I have right fucking there. And
Okay, I see. Yep. Third one up.
Yeah, it's Yep. And it's they're fantastic guns, both of them. Either way, Jake, we'll have to talk because I have both models. It'll probably work for both models. I have all 3 models actually. So,
because this is what I have. It looks like that.
The thing.
It's 303. I know it's 303.
Yeah,
I don't have a rifle to put it in.
You need to rectify that problem.
I don't have the money to. I don't have the money to rectify that problem because I got 2 kids under 2.
I love my Mauser. I love Springfield and everything, but if I had to pick one, I'd go with the Lee Enfield. The bolt.
I have never fired an Enfield.
Okay, so Trey, Jake, we're gonna have to set up a fucking shooting date right before winter, like soon.
Yeah, come on down. I've got 200 yards on my property, and my neighbor that I can use his range has got 600.
Yep, and so I'll have to bring down because Trey, you're gonna be jealous, you're gonna be shitty about this, but like I have a number 4 Mark II.
Ooh, nice.
And I've never shot it.
So one of the local pawn shops or gun stores had a Ross rifle number. No, it's a Ross rifle Mark II. It was a civilian version, not the military version. So it was a little bit shorter, and the stock didn't go.
No. They never made a civilian version. So that was a sporterized military version. And
that's what I meant.
That sucks. And so Devin K, the guy that we always talk to on here, is an expert in the fucking Ross rifle.
I love that thing. I wish I would have bought it, but what would I have done with it?
But here's the thing: is like
the detent where you could like drop the rounds in. It was beautiful.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, if you're gonna get a Ross, save up and get a fucking proper Ross.
Yeah. Well, some guy apparently passed away, and his son brought in like a I bought the Springfield 03. It was like a sub 800 serial number, or not 800, 800,000. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, I know what you mean. Yep.
Yeah. So I
Yep.
bought that. I put a different stock on it because it had the A2 stock on it. You know, the nerve, the not the pistol grip, but you know what I'm talking about, the little knot where your hand is. It's not a
Yeah,
straight.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, he had a bunch of military rifles, Mosh 36. He had an original Sharps carbine, but it had the it's not the Maynard device, but the equivalent for the Sharps. I think I talked to you about that. You know, when you cock the hammer, it shoved out a piece of paper. Instead of putting a cap on the cone, it shoved out a piece of paper. Think of the Maynard for the Springfield, like the one I've got behind me.
Mm-hmm.
You open the door, and remember the cap guns we had as a kid? You put the caps in and pop, pop, pop. So that's where that came from. It was called the Maynard device. The Maynard device came out like in the 1840s, 50s, but it had a lot more power behind that paper. So you put that in, and every time you cock the hammer, it would shove out the next paper with the dot on it, and the hammer would come down, pop, and fire. So there's no need for caps. So you would load your rifle, cock it.
It's an actual repeating rifle.
Yes, basically.
As far as you can load.
No caps. Yeah, you wipe, pour, load, and then you would just cock the hammer and then fire.
It had the priming compound on a ribbon of paper.
Exactly. So when it fired, it would rip off the paper, and you just go to the next one. In theory, it was perfect, but they didn't accommodate for, Central Virginia humidity, et cetera, et cetera.
Rain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this had that on it.
The thing is, like, honestly, dude, that shit still comes forward to like today's testing.
Oh yeah, with the M16 using the beads instead of the grains for the ammunition.
That was okay. So
that was ordnance branch.
Yeah, they started with the fucking pellet powder. I forgot exactly.
Rod powder.
Yeah, rod powder. Like, what was it? Do you know the actual nomenclature, Jake? Because there was some nomenclature for it.
But yeah, but
anyway, yeah.
When the 5.56 was developed for the M16, it was originally using rod powder with 55 grain bullets.
Yes.
But then in between acceptance and deployment, Ordnance Department decided to change it from rod powder to ball powder, and I think they went to a 62 grain bullet.
I don't know the bullet, but like they did the powder, yes.
Yeah, they changed it from rod
powder.
Yeah, they changed it from rod powder to ball powder, and they didn't do anything with the gas system on the rifle when they changed the powder type in between the trial acceptance and when they actually started fielding it to the troops. That's why the early M16s had such bad reputations with the troops.
Yeah, the M16s in like 65
yeah,
and 66.
The M16s, not the A1s,
yeah.
the pre-A1s.
Yep, absolutely. And then it was like, okay, shit, let's go back to the rod powder, which burns
differently.
For a rifle, better.
Yeah.
Oh boy. He's got a rubber band gun.
I pray to God that ends it, and then we just like fight for help for it. He's got a gun. Yeah.
Hell, I've even got mine blurred out.
Gator wants his get back.
But yeah, like, so the M16, like that, they had that issue.
No, Red Dirt. Nobody came up with Mattel M16s because they didn't exist.
Yeah, I got a Mattel. I got a Mattel. Oh.
And Mike's just groaning. I can see it.
It's a toy M16.
So Red Dirt's just asking. He's like, did anyone come up with the proof of the M16? Like, a good friend of mine, a good esteemed historian and everything, who was also in the military in the 80s and 90s, literally the other day swore to me that he was issued in a Mattel M16 in basic. I said, no, you weren't.
I wouldn't put it out.
I said, no, you weren't. And he goes, I know what I saw, man. Like, I know what I saw. And I'm like, yeah, you might have saw something different. Like, you might have saw an H&R receiver, which they actually did make for basic trainees weapons. I'm like, no, you didn't. And he's like, well, I'll get you these documentations from this guy and this guy. And I'm like, please do. It's been 5 years and I still have zero proof besides hearsay and word of mouth. Not a credible source to me. I'm sorry. I might be a dickhead,
Richard.
but if I were like, yeah, so the guys that made my IOTV when I was in Iraq was Hasbro, right? Isn't that weird? Because it's like plastic. All they do is plastic. Hasbro never made IOTVs for Iraq or Afghanistan.
I carried one. It said Hasbro on it.
That's because you wrote it on with a Sharpie.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I mean, let's be real here. So,
okay, so I'm looking on guns.com. H&R is making legit retro ARs.
they also made H&R and GM Hydromatic made a couple 100,000 receivers that were usually used in basic training in the 1980s.
Well, the reason why I bring it up is because they have a picture of the roll stamp.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And it doesn't look that much different from Mattel.
It's a circle with some shit in
with
there.
a lion in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm copying the link right now. Copy. And paste. I'll even share it so Chad can see it.
Yeah, what's his name?
Oh, exactly. That's it's H&R.
Yeah,
it's
what's his name?
That's so this is what I was talking about. Like,
what's his name? Reproduces those. Spud, it's not Spud.
Nodex Spud.
Nodex Spud. That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
He reproduces
Spud.
Yeah, he. Yep. I used to have one of his receivers.
Okay, so that's the H&R roll stamp.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like your false memories.
Wow.
Are not anywhere near a fucking primary source for me. Especially when I have proof. Or the lack thereof. You know, like it's like nobody has been able to actually have one photo. We didn't have cell phones back then. I said, did you have cameras? You did. Absolutely. And if you thought something was so funny, you would have probably taken fucking pictures of it at some point, right?
And here is the Mattel logo that, you know, every fucking buddy in the world knows what Mattel is. I'm sorry it's small, but that's what we have.
Huge.
Huge. Very huge. I had bone spurs and they're very painful. Very painful.
So the point is that I can understand how somebody can forget over the course of 20, 30 years
but when
the
they doubled down
on their fucking rifle looked like.
Dude, I told him, I said, dude, have you ever heard of the Mandela effect?
Yes. Yep.
I said, so there were millions of people that swore they saw JFK be shot on live television in 63. The Zapruder film didn't come out until what, 74, 75? At least a decade later.
The what?
The Zapruder film. Of JFK being shot, like the most famous one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it did not come out because Geraldo Rivera released it in I forgot exactly what year it was, but it was at least 10 years after the initial event happened. Okay? And people still swear that they swear that they watched JFK be killed on live television when there was literally no live television documenting that motor carriage.
Let's see here.
Zapruder, ZAPR.
I've got it. I've got it already.
Right.
I'm looking through.
And it was also very heavily edited, but hey, that's another conversation.
I'm seeing 1967 for a publication from a life reporter or life researcher. But still, he was killed. He was assassinated in 63.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where the 75 date comes from. March 6, 1975, ABC late night television show Good Night America, Geraldo Rivera was the first U.S. network television to broadcast the Zapruder film.
There you go. So 75, that's 12 years.
The very first broadcast was actually in 1970, but 1975 was the first main network broadcast of it. So yeah, 12 years later, minimum
But
7 years later.
People still swear that they saw him be assassinated on live TV.
I've never been under the assumption that motorcade was being broadcast live anywhere.
It wasn't.
No.
It was a routine, average, lackluster fucking motorcade. Okay.
Speaking of which, have you seen the similarities and differences between the Lincoln assassination and Harvey's assassination? Or not Harvey, FDR, or God damn it,
JFK.
It's wild.
No.
So
yeah, they
I'll look it up, but so like one of them.
Didn't somebody put together a card where they laser cut Kennedy's silhouette into a penny next to Lincoln's face and then sell it as a tourist thing?
No, like so. Yeah, this says here Lincoln and Kennedy. Okay, that's kind of weird. I see what you're saying now. The Lincoln, Kennedy and Lincoln Penny.
Yeah, the
weird because like so.
The coincidences.
Yeah. So both Lincoln and Kennedy were concerned with civil rights. Lincoln was elected president in 1860. Kennedy was in 1960. Both were slain on Friday in the presence of their wives. Both were shot from behind the head. Their successors, both Johnson, were both Southern Democrats.
Yep.
And were both in the Senate. Andrew Johnson was born in 1808, and Lyndon Johnson was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth was born in 1939, and Lee Harvey Oswald was born in 1939. Booth and Oswald were Southerners favoring unpopular ideas. Both presidents' wives were lost children through death while in the White House. Lincoln's secretary, whose name was Kennedy, advised him not to go to the theater. Kennedy's secretary, who was named Lincoln, advised him not to go to the Dallas. John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and ran to a warehouse. Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and ran to a theater. The names Lincoln and Kennedy each contain 7 letters. The names Andrew Johnson and Lyndon Johnson each contain 13 letters. The names John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald each contain 15 letters. This is when it starts to get stupid, but both
exactly. Well, it's been stupid for a while.
Both assassins were killed before being brought to trial. Both Johnsons were opposed to re-election by men whose names started with a G. So, I mean, it is kind of weird. Like I said, Lincoln's assassination happened at a theater. He fled to a warehouse and was captured, and vice versa. Oswald was at a warehouse and fled to a theater. That's kind of, But yeah, like the 13 letters.
He couldn't have done it with a Carcano, though.
Yeah.
The Carcano's an Italian piece of shit.
You can't hit the house from the inside with a Carcano.
Well, here's the thing, Jake. Wait a minute. I was governor of Minnesota and I qualified expert marksman at Camp Ripley
when you were with the Navy SEALs.
Wait a minute. And I couldn't do those shots. So what say you?
Oh God. You gotta love it. I mean, just
it's like coincidences, yes. And if so, here's the thing: is if somebody tries to draw a line to some other event that happened to make it similar, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You can always find a connection where there isn't one if you dig deep enough.
Yep. And it's like, I'm just here for the truth. That's all I want to have. Why don't you tell me what happened when JFK was assassinated? Because I don't know. There might
I'm
be more
just
than one
asking
shooter.
the questions.
I'm just asking the questions
Come on.
here.
That's the
And
thing.
I don't know if you wanna go on about Lee Harvey Oswald, how he was just, some random shooter. I don't know if I'm inclined to believe that. But I do know one thing. Tower 7 didn't fall by itself.
Did you know Corn Pop was a bad dude? Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Corn Pop? What are you talking about?
Corn Pop, he was a bad dude. He led a bunch of bad boys, and I've got.
I don't know who that is.
Everybody knows Corn Pop. I've got hairy legs.
No, I don't know who Corn Pop is.
I know about cockroaches.
Corn Pop is
Well-
afraid of a chain.
Well, I don't know. Why don't you tell me who Corn Pop was then? If you're such a patriot, why don't you tell me who Corn Pop was and try to connect that with the current administration in here? Because I'm not convinced yet.
What's the next thing we're going to do with?
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I love the Jesse
know.
Ventura.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's great.
He was, if nothing else, he was great for the comedic effect.
Did he get elected out? Or is he still there?
Yeah.
No, he just
No, he
didn't
got-
run again.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he got elected and he actually made money in office.
Brendan Gill's like, your gun show Boomer impression is remarkable. That's not who it is.
The gun show. Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's if you don't know who. Yeah, I was a Navy SEAL, and then I got out and I joined the WWE, and Vince McMahon and I didn't get along that well, but I still had one hell of a professional wrestling career. And then I got out and I ran for governor of Minnesota. Before that, I was mayor of St. Louis Park, the second largest city in Minnesota, and and then I won the governorship, and the 9/11 happened, and I had a lot of questions, and I was allowed to ask them. So why don't you tell me, if you're such a patriot, Brendan Gill? Why don't you tell me what happened when those towers fell and Building 7 magically fell?
Hours later.
Well, yes. So, all right, I'll stop with the Jesse Ventura shit. But
He
it's-
likes the Jesse Ventura shit because he literally can see Minnesota from his house.
actually, not anymore. Not anymore.
The trees got too tall.
Well, I just moved farther inland a little bit. A little bit.
Couple of blocks.
Yeah, a couple of blocks, not blacks. Because literally what you just said with your fucking Wisconsin accent.
Oh, fuck off. You have one too.
Not as bad as yours. It's okay. So Trey, moment of question.
Oh, fuck.
Who
here we
has the
go.
worst Wisconsin accent, myself or Jake?
Honestly, I don't hear either one of you. Like when you do your videos, like, oh, you mean a sword? Like, yeah, I definitely could hear it. But no, I don't really hear it as much. Like you told me like it was gonna be bad. I don't really see it as much.
I think Mike wants to hear it because he's jealous. He's like, I wish
Jealous
I
of
could
what?
sound like Charlie Barons too.
No, I really don't hear either one of y'all. Like, I guess because you're not focused on it, but like in your videos, it's extremely deep. You're like, whoa, yeah, you been a sword over here. Yeah, you shooting your rifle there. But no, I really don't hear it as much.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. This is a failure on my part. I just wanted to expose Jake as being the fucking...
No, I really don't hear it as much as I thought I would.
Really?
No.
Like I said, I think Mike is projecting.
Yeah. Although, like, I sound like I'm in the holler or some shit in West Virginia.
Not
You're not
quite.
in West Virginia.
Huh?
You're not in West Virginia. You're in Virginia.
Exactly.
So it's a different accent. West Virginia is like,
Yeah.
Hey man, yeah, I was doing a thing the other night and I saw this thing. This guy carrying M1 Garand And I don't understand. Is that supposed to be a lock bar site in that for this
It sounds like an
time period?
Alabama accent. By Alabama.
There's nowhere near enough inbred in that
Yeah.
accent for it to be West by God, Virginia.
Jesus
We,
Christ.
we've all seen the Whitakers of West Virginia.
The wild, wonderful whites of West Virginia. Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
fucking.
God, yeah. What? No,
So-
there's two. Which ones? There's ones where they're like all meth heads and cracked out and shit. Then there's like the
Yeah, it's a wild. Yeah.
Well, then there's the ones that are legit.
Merrill, Wisconsin.
There's the ones that are legit inbred. I can't remember which ones because there's the wonderful.
Oh
white.
no. This one was the wild and wonderful whites of West Virginia.
Oh no,
and it was Jessica White.
No,
Jessica White was one of the main characters, and he was not looking good.
So yeah, it's the Whitakers of West Virginia.
Whitakers, yeah.
Yeah.
The Whites is the one I saw. I haven't seen the Whitakers one.
No, they are legit fucking inbred. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
Well, I'll show you. I'll show you the Joe Rogan thing where he's talking about, but it's
no, I know
Dude,
because it was the guy that goes there and does that, right? The guy, what the hell is it called?
where the guy's like barking. He's a dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not the one.
Yeah, that's different. The whites of West Virginia, they're like outlaws and crackheads.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly.
It's
yep.
Different ones.
Southway Underbelly. Yep, exactly.
No, yep, that's it. Yep.
That's it. And yeah, he was on Joe Rogan, and like I've seen some of his interviews, and it's so fucking sad. It's so fucking sad that I can't watch much more of them. Like, I'm like, I know these people exist, but it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, we're in the United States, the best country in the world, whatever. It's like, and these people exist, and I'm like,
remember they can vote.
You want to know?
Well, I don't think they do.
They probably don't, but they can. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there's a city right on the Arizona-Utah border that, like, I think it's over 90% of the residents are biologically related to each other.
Hell yeah, keep it in the family, you know.
Closer kin, the deeper in.
That's right. You know, what can you do?
Yeah, because everybody in that town is members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, there we go.
It got so bad that the federal government actually had to step in and break up the church in that town.
Oof.
Like the people in that town actually, you can tell that they're related. They all look the same.
Yeah, didn't happen.
It's called Colorado City. Colorado City, Arizona.
It's also a lot of towns where you're near. Let's be honest here.
I'm not that close to Merrill anymore.
Yeah.
Did he say Maryland?
Merrill.
Oh,
Merrill, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
God, I was gonna fucking shit on Frank off.
An old neighbor of mine was from Merrill, and his joke about Merrill was, "You want to know how you can tell if a girl from Merrill is a virgin? Is if she can run faster than her brothers." He was from Merrill, and he told me that joke. So Merrill has a reputation.
Well, Trey's just silent right now because he's like, "Well, shit, that's where I grew up near." Shit,
I have no idea where that's from. I don't think we have a Merrill.
Like the family trees in Merrill are circles.
No, you mean telephone pole?
No, they're circles. They loop back around. Figure eights, maybe.
Jesus, Proust. Yeah, it's.
They also had one of the biggest meth lab busts in state history.
Hell yeah.
Well, those guys took the fucking crown away from my county.
Yeah.
Because my county for fucking ever in the mid 2000s was the meth capital of the world.
Yeah, Merrill. Merrill, they actually the meth cookers actually broke into an abandoned paper mill, and they were cooking meth on an industrial scale inside the paper mill and inside the vacant
Legend.
paper mill.
Fucking legend.
That's lush. Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
We had the moonshine capital of the world, but
yeah, but you're in fucking Virginia.
Stop treading on me, God. Another
I mean, let's
depends
just
on
do
what
a
part
bigger-
of Virginia.
Huh?
Depends on what part of Virginia.
So Franklin was the moonshine capital of the world, which is like Southwest Virginia, like on the border of Maryland or North Carolina. But I'm in Central Virginia. I'm like right at the foothills.
Okay.
I'm not hillbilly, but I'm like
You're-
descendant hillbilly.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you're like the cousins of the hillbillies.
That's right. We the ones that moved out. We're like
You're
we don't
you're the up
associate- we don't
you're the
associate with
upscale
them there.
you're the upscale cousins of the hillbillies. You're the
Mhm.
redneck.
Yeah, we're the ones that actually have to work the land.
You're the ones who know what shoes are.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
You don't have any, but you know what they are.
Yeah, yeah. Once you wear to church, that's about it. You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I legit okay. Basic training story. I'm sorry about the basic training story, but I legit day one of basic training when we're first arriving. There was a kid on the fucking bus coming from the airport going to Benning, who legitimately was complaining about how his feet were hurting because this was the first pair of shoes he had ever worn.
Oof.
Yeah, he's like, my feet are hurting because I never wore no shoes before.
We had a dude from Africa. The dude was legit, man. He was awesome.
Yeah, he probably actually wanted to be there.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, he was great. I can't remember his name now, but he anytime some people like bitch or complain, I loved it. He would be like, well, I didn't come from shit. I didn't have nothing. I was like, get him.
The worst guys at basic training were both from Guam. I shit you not. They were the biggest pieces of shit we had.
Guam? The
Yeah,
guy we had from Guam.
They were
cool.
Guamanian National Guard.
Yeah, no. But like we had a guy from Guam too. His last name was Kichocho. And I thought that was cool. He was the nicest guy in the world. He was tired as fuck, and he was just like, all right. He was pretty good, yeah.
One of them his name was Babuda. And he really pissed everybody off because he was quite possibly the worst soldier in the entire platoon who actually graduated. He got to fire the live AT-4 only because his uncle was the manager of 254's DFAC.
Oh wow!
No, well, that's funny too. Is we should also mention that like you and I, different years, of course. We went through the same we were in the same training battalion, not the same companies or anything, but like. That's funny as shit. Like that's such a coincidence.
Yeah, we had a dude from California, and he was a fucking tool. He had a fucking tattoo of a seahorse on his neck. He was like, "Yeah, it's my gang." I'm like, a fucking seahorse? Dude, the drill sergeant ripped into his ass, dude. He didn't even make it. This fucker pussy. He snuck in like 3 cell phones. Like he handed over 1 cell phone, so he went off out on the PX, got another cell phone. He was hiding it under the washer and dryer. Got caught. Did it again. I was like, dude, what a fucking tool bag, man. He didn't make
cell phones weren't even a thing when I went through basic. Well, they existed, but nobody had them.
Yeah, he was sneaking them. He went out and got a plan and everything on PX when we had like leave for like an hour.
So
like,
what year did you go through?
Who? Which one of us?
2010.
No, I'm talking to Trey. Yeah.
2010. Fuck, I feel old.
Shit. And so you went through in 2010, and where were you at again?
Leonardwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel old.
Yeah, well, you're not that much older than me, you fucking faggot. So.
Back in my day.
No,
I had BDUs in basic.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
y'all. I'm assuming y'all had M16s at basic.
Jake did.
Yep. Yeah, I had an A4.
I had the M4.
I
Yeah,
had
an
an
M4 as
M16
well.
A4.
Yeah, I was telling
But-
Jake this, like, we were the
and then-
first rotation that actually had M4s, and we got brand new FN M4s, brand new, never been fired. And we're looking at all these other like companies that are beside us that are having A4s. They're looking at us like,
And their rifles are all white and purple.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, just absolutely
Purple, yeah.
destroyed.
Ours
And,
were
and it's,
old as shit.
yeah, and we had M4s, and they're like, oh, they're looking at us like, God, you fuckers, and they're like, yeah, well, you're still gonna pay for this.
Yeah.
And so it was like, because like I was so you were Bravo 254
Alpha
Alpha 254 in 2004, right?
5.
5.
Early 2005.
Yeah, and I was Charlie 254 in mid to late summer of 2008. So I mean, it's a few years, yes, but like very similar. And yeah,
A lot of rotations though.
yeah, a lot of rotations. And my buddies that were down there at the same time I was, like, in Benning for OSIT, they were issued A4s, and we were one of the few infantry guys that got M4s. And then we had to do different like drill and ceremony shit with the M4, which was interesting. And
We
I'm
didn't
like,
really do DNC much.
they drilled it into us the first like week and a half while we were still in like hard red phase, and then after that it was just kind of like, if we were marching we had to do it, but like it was already drilled into us. We didn't spend a lot more time than like about, I'd say, a full week.
So what were your shoulder arms like? Because I know some people like the traditional.
For an M4,
Because ours
It's-
was basically just hold it.
I can't grab that.
Basically just hold the bottom of the button. And it's the
Yep,
barrel's
and it
like
was the
this.
right shoulder, and it was magazine facing out like
Yep.
this.
Yep. All right.
Because
But
I
know
knew
some
I
people-
knew I had known the M16,
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
you know, all that
Okay.
stuff, and then we got there and it was totally different for me, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep.
And so we did that, and god damn it, I wish I could just fucking piss.
But
me off.
anyway, like I said, we
Yeah,
I went in fall of 2010 because that's when I graduated, and I went to Leonard Wood, Missouri from November to April, and we had old raggedy M4s, like you were saying, they're purple, they're faded.
Yep.
But we had to go to another company that was being formed, and we helped them unload. Like literally, we were unloading crates of brand new, and we were stacking them in the chimney formation. They were brand new M4s, and I was like, God, this is awesome. Wish we could have them.
Yeah, the purple finish comes from the solvent in the solvent tanks.
Yep.
I always wondered how that happened until we got to recovery
it's-
week after FTX.
I think it's the sun too. The sun hitting it. I think it.
Nope, it's all the solvent.
Really?
'Cause
Yeah,
we
it
had
reacts in there.
Our M16 A4s were brand new at the beginning of the cycle. Like nobody had a purple one. By the time we turned them in 14 weeks later, they were all purple because we were using the solvent tank to clean them.
Yeah,
I
it's
love the
yeah.
solvent tank. We didn't have them at basic, but when I got to my unit, we had solvent
Oh,
tanks.
yeah.
I love those things, man. The
We
carbon,
weren't allowed to use solvent tanks.
the solvent of the carbon would just disappear.
What
But
I did-
you better lube that bad boy up, because if you didn't,
One of the things that I did all the time that pissed off my team leader when it came to weapons maintenance at the end of drill weekends is I'd take my saw outside with a can of brake cleaner and I'd spray the receiver. I'd spray the receiver out with brake cleaner. There wasn't a spot of carbon anywhere on my saw.
I love that thing.
When we were at Primo Jake in Texas at Fort Bliss, we did the 240 range, and it was fucking awesome. But like, there was only so much I could do to clean the amount of fucking carbon that was in there. They're like, all right, we're gonna throw these on the solvent tank. So we were actually on post when they were doing this,
Mhm.
and it came out, and I was sitting there. I was like, okay, I disassembled it, blah blah, and I'm like trying to wipe it down, and I'm like, there is literally no fucking carbon on this bitch, none.
Mhm.
Holy shit, what the fuck happened here? And I'm like, it was kind of a cool experience because I'm like, okay, I can sleep tonight. Yeah, it was yeah, it was fucking fun. Like in basic, like because we had brand new M4s, I was like, I hope I can zero this fucking thing so that the next guy that gets this will be okay. And I
nice,
did.
dude.
I qualified expert. It was fucking fine. We didn't use any optics.
We didn't
Trey,
either.
did you use optics? Or
Nope.
did you just use iron sights?
I never saw an optic in basic ever.
Cool. So we what we did is I'm sure Jake is the same with you.
I had
We
red.
got-
I had a CCO. I had an M68.
For qualification or after?
No, after qual. We had to qualify
Yeah,
before we could get
That's what I'm saying.
M68.
Is so that's what I was gonna say is like we had iron sights, we had to qualify on iron sights, right? Then we got a CCO and we're out at the moving target range. I'm sure Jake has heard the story from
Oh,
me
yeah.
before, but like we're at the moving target range on Benning. I don't know, did you guys have this at Leonardwood where it was like it's like 1 to basically 250 and they're like moving very fast?
No, ours just popped up and down.
Yeah, no, that's the qual range. Yeah, but like, so they gave me a CCO and they're like, all right, go to the zero range, zero that thing. And I'm like, I have a problem with this thing. I don't know. And so we go to the moving target range and the first target pops up. I go, wham, miss. And I'm like, what the fuck? Wham, miss. My drill sergeant standing next to me. He goes, what the fuck is your problem? I'm like, I don't know. All right, next one pops up. Wham, miss. Wham, miss. Did you zero your fucking CCO? And I'm like, yes, I did. And I'm like, I'm more used to iron sights, like with this shit. He goes, you're fucking with me right now. Okay, well, if you think you can do better with iron sights, fucking turn your CCO off and use iron sights. And I'm like, okay. Moving. Bam, down. Bam, down. And he's like, you are a fucked up piece of shit. He's like, how the fuck can you? No. All right. So we kept doing it. I hit all the fucking targets after I turned the CCO off and I was just using my iron sights.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I've never seen a fucking private do worse on fucking a CCO, a 68, than iron sights. You're fucking retarded. Get the fuck off my fucking range. I'm like, okay. But then, like, I was like, that's just how I grew up. I grew up with iron sights. Like, I'm okay with them. Like, and the CCO, I never got used to that thing. I really didn't.
I prefer the ACOG.
Well, we didn't get those until...
Yeah,
I never
got
got those
one
in the military. Yeah.
I never got one.
We never got them in basic, but when I got to my unit, my preferred setup was a 203 with an ACOG. For whatever reason, I was better shooting with with a 203 under the rifle. I don't know what it was, but 203
Probably the weight.
maybe that's what I'm thinking. But I could just
Counterbalance,
nail targets. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, so Jake never got an ACOG issued to him. I got one issued to me like 6 months before I got out, right? And I tried qualifying on an ACOG after I zeroed it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They just literally threw it in my hands. They're like, here's an ACOG. Here's what you do with it. Give us a 5-minute class. And I'm like, okay. I literally shot expert on every fucking weapons platform. Rifle, pistol, machine gun, fucking everything you could possibly think of. On that one, I got 23. The first time shooting with an ACOG, and I'm like,
I love the ACOG.
Right, and this thing is, I just wasn't used to it, And I'm like,
now for your pistol, did you shoot the pop-up targets or the paper targets?
pop up.
So at basic, well, I'm going to rephrase that. At MP school, we had to shoot the paper target, and it's weird. Like they put a paper target down range, and you would have to lay prone on a table, fire, and then like walk down to it. And then when I got to my unit, we had pop-up targets. The only problem with that I did not like was 9mm is a lot bigger than 5.56.
Yeah.
Those plastic targets, when a 5.56 hit it opens and comes back. 9mm, it's a fucking hole. So after about 2 or 3 iterations, I mean, the whole chest is gone for the center of a target. So you
Yep.
better be aiming for like shoulders or head
Well,
shots.
I was aiming for here,
Yeah.
so I was aiming
So-
for
We had to do that, which was okay. But
So we actually in infantry we don't actually qualify with the M9 in basic and AIT.
we had to because
I know you did for
yeah.
MP shit
yeah.
for MP OSIT, but like
Yep.
for infantry OSIT we don't qualify with the M9. We qualify
Okay.
with the M4, M249, M240, 203, grenade, bayonet. Well, I was the last iteration to go through with bayonet, so
we didn't get bayonets.
yeah, I
We
yeah, I was
got
last-
them, but we didn't do the
No, we actually had to qualify. So it
half
was,
day or full day. Yeah,
When I went
Yep.
when I went through, we only did FAM fire with the 249 and 240.
same.
We only qualified with the rifle.
Yep, same.
yeah.
We
So
didn't-
you guys,
We
that
didn't
was
even
in-
fire. I don't think we
Yeah,
even
but that was
fired-
during the surge too. Like you got to remember that. Like
Yep.
so, it
Yeah,
was
we
like they wanted those guys. They wanted us to
Yeah.
like.
we didn't fire the 50.
And the only thing that I didn't go to, the only training I didn't go to was the FAM fire for the 249, and then I ended up carrying one for 3 years.
Yep. But yeah, you're good at it. But like, yeah. So basic was
Oh, I loved
the
this.
FAM fire was the M2 and the Mark 19. That's what we did the FAM fire on, where you didn't have to qualify.
Yep.
Oh,
we did FAM
no,
fire
no.
on that too.
No, I just fucked that up. I really fucked that up. You're correct. It was FAM fire was the 249 and 240 as well in basic.
Yeah, in basic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you're correct.
No, we did fire the Mark 19, but I don't think we fired the 50.
We didn't even get to touch the M9s
Yep.
in
Nope.
basic.
It was no.
We
There was,
didn't
there was
either.
not
That
even. Yeah.
That was when I got to my the MP school. We got to use those. We had to.
So in OSIT, when you were in for MPs, like you didn't fire the M9 in OSIT.
Yeah, for MP school, yes, but for basic, no.
I was a little bit jealous of the 11 Charlies because they got to do qualification with all 3 of the mortars.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if they got expert, they could actually have a mortar bar on their
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
agree. I agree, Gunslinger. The fuck the Mark 19.
Dude,
It always jams. I've
I
never.
I loved the Mark 19.
If I had to choose 50 Mark 19, the fucking 50, man.
I know Mike's opinion on the Mark 19, and I know why, and I know how his opinion was influenced. But my opinion from actually using it, I loved the Mark 19.
It's great when it works. But
on my first deployment in 06, I was one of the company experts on the Mark 19. Like there were few people in the company who knew more about that thing than I did.
it's
and
a great
every
weapon when it works, but it always jams. The ammunition's
Most of the time, and I'm saying most of the time because I know there are exceptions, but most of the time problems with the Mark 19 are operator induced.
Yep.
well,
And-
it also just scared the shit out of me. That's the whole.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, like, that whole weapons platform scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, when they taught us, they were like, if the thing's stuck, you stick a screwdriver in the side. And I was like,
No,
What?
you don't.
he's like,
No, you
break
don't.
it off. I was like, fuck that. That's how they taught us. They were like, if the round stuck on the bolt face.
Oh, on the bolt face, yeah. You use a cleaning rod to lever it out.
Exactly. Yeah. You shove that down. I was like,
Yep.
So it's a live round. We're just dropping. He's like, yeah. I was like, cool.
It's inert. It's inert.
But
Because they fuse the same. They're fused basically the same way as a 203 grenade.
yeah.
They have to spin at a certain RPM, a certain number of times.
They say that, but one of our drill sergeants said that one of their dipshits, when they something happened, the Mark 19 went up, and they were doing something. It blew the whole front of the Humvee off, and I was like, "Cool."
And I actually know a guy that had that happen to him as well, like with a live round in Iraq. One of my team leaders, and yeah, luckily he was okay, but like,
Yeah, they said the Humvee was completely people in it was fine,
yep,
but the whole front end was like just gone.
plastered, yep, and that's the thing. But like, also, let's get on a better note. The M2. If there's ever a weapon that I've shot that actually gave me a hard on, that's that fucking thing.
I've said this publicly on Discord. I'm going to say it here. I guarantee you, give me an M2, give me 200 rounds of belted ammo for it, and I can turn the biggest anti-gun N-word
Yeah.
into a gun fanatic
Yep.
with an M2 and 200
Yep.
rounds.
So
it's
ours
it's
was
It
on
is
how you
so much fun.
it goes through your body and you're like,
yeah.
oh,
See, all of ours was on the because we were MPs. Ours was on the vehicles. We didn't.
Yep.
We never really hardly ever shot them from the tripod. Ours was on
Yeah.
the vehicle. You know, with a Humvee, you turn it off, whatever. You put the e-brake on. The e-brake is only just there to like lock the axle, not the wheels.
It's to keep the truck from rolling
Yeah.
on under gravity.
So you pop that 50 cal off, you know, a good 5 to 10 round burst. You boop, 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 the Humvee rocks back. You're like,
Yep.
oh God, yes.
If you shoot, I did this on a range on the lead up to my first deployment. If you're shooting the 50 cal, even with blanks over the side of a Humvee, you can watch the Humvee rock.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. But
Even
like
even with blanks, it'll do it.
like I
With
said, later in my career, I was an armorer for the unit, and so I was with headquarters all the time. So I wasn't out with the MPs or the infantry or wherever the transportation. I was back with the headquarters guarding the weapons, and our sister company was running the 50 cal range that day, and they were like, "Hey, we need people to burn this ammo up." I was like, "All right." Me and my buddy Chinari were like, "Hey, you know, we'll run out." He's like, "All right, let's go." So
yes,
me
please.
and my buddy Chinari, he's from Pakistan, Iran area, and he's like, "Yeah, let's go." So we got in the HHR, the shitty Chevy car, and drove out to the range. Got out there, and me and him were on the 50 cals. They were on the tripods because the transportation units had set them
True
up.
infantry style.
So we were,
Tripod.
you know, shooting 50 cals, you know, sitting on our ass, firing a 50 cal.
Yep.
And we were like, our sergeant was like, "Hey, you need to get back as soon as you can because I need to do this, that, and the other." I was like, "All right, cool. We'll go out, shoot the range, get qualified, get the hell back." So we're shooting 50 cal. The transportation guys are bringing out like cans. I was like, "What are y'all doing, dude? I've got to shoot 200 rounds to get out." I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just keep shooting. You're supposed to change the barrel out every 200 rounds."
Yes.
No, they're just blah, 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 keep shooting. I was like, "What are y'all doing, dude?" They're like, "I'll just keep shooting." I was like, "All right, ain't my machine guns. Fuck it. I'll just keep burning this bitch up." So we shot like 400 rounds and I changed the barrel.
Oh.
I mean, we weren't going cyclic, but I was like, holy
No, but like it's still. I mean,
yeah.
I mean that's a fun time. Like we were. Jake, were you at Bliss doing the 50 cal qual when we were out there? And then
Yeah.
do you remember? I think I told you
The
this story.
The night fire.
No. Before that even happened, like the beginning of the night fire, right?
Yep.
So they had shot so many rounds through this fucking barrel, and it was like flatlined, right?
Yeah.
It was like almost welded to the fucking receiver.
Yep.
And these pogues that were running the range were trying to change out the barrel, and they couldn't figure out how to do it. And Oris was videotaping, and I'm sitting there going, full battle rattle, and I'm like, these fuckers don't know how to change a fucking barrel on an M2. This is fucked up. And so I went up there and I said, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Well, we're trying to get the barrel off." And I said, "Okay, give me the fucking gloves." And this was I wish I could find that fucking hard drive. I really wish I could.
I know
on there to confirm it.
I think I've seen it.
You might have. And I went up there and I just grabbed the barrel and I went. I'm like, this thing is burned in. It's expanded heavily. And I put the barrel out. I threw it onto the ground. And I was like, "Where's the new barrel?" Like, here. And I screwed it back in. And I went all the way tight. And I went 2 clicks back. I said, "There, we're good." And as I'm doing this, Oris is like, "How many ESs does it change, or does it take to change out a 50 cal barrel?" And I went up there like after they had been doing this for 5 full fucking minutes, and then we proceeded to fucking run those barrels white hot.
Yep.
I mean,
I've seen the
rounds going through them.
And the round is a dark spot going through the barrel because it's cooler than the barrel.
And they were just like, "Get the fuck off the range. Like, you know, like as soon as possible, burn up all this ammo." And we did that. And it was like, yeah, but the pogues that were running it were like, we don't really know. And we're like, just let
I
us
think
fucking do this.
I think they were National Guard guys who were doing their AT.
They were that's exactly what they were, the New Mexico National Guard. And
Yeah,
they were at Fort Piss, and they were just like, well,
out
I
at the
don't know.
McGregor range.
Exactly. And so I just went up there and I just cranked it because, you know, whatever, I know how to torque the thing.
Yeah,
And like, and I was like, watch the threads because this isn't flatlined yet, and then change the barrel, and then we proceeded to burn all those fucking barrels down, man.
they
Like,
weren't
it was-
ours.
Yeah, man.
No, they weren't.
They weren't ours.
I
Nope.
think
And it's like, who gives a fuck? And so
not
we just sat there and went for the night fire. It was that was my burst instead of you know, a few. It was
Yeah.
just like
Burn
fucking
it.
10 to
Yeah.
15. And it was like, and then by the time we got done, because we just want to go home, back to
Yeah,
the barracks,
damn right.
you know?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was just
because
like,
this is
Yeah.
what was it? February, March in Fort Bliss.
yeah, it was early March, yeah.
So it's like 8, 9 o'clock at night by the time we're actually done. Everybody's fucking beat. We all know we're getting up at like 05 the next morning.
Well, and that day, dude, is like you guys got to go back to the barracks, and I was put on weapons guard and cleaning.
Oh my god.
So like Oris and a couple other guys and I were on weapons guard. And so we had to clean these fucking things the best we could during the day in that little shitty ammo shack that they
Yeah.
had, like really shitty.
Yeah,
And there was
I remember it.
scorpions and shit in there. And we were like, oh my God. And so we had to sit there and clean them. And then so we were like the most like I want to just go fucking back. And so we did that. But yeah, the fucking barrels were like white hot, and you can see the fucking rounds going through them as they were shooting.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's I have seen that video where you can actually see the rounds going down the barrel because it leaves a dark spot in the
Yep.
bore.
And then the barrels start
The
going
barrel-
like this,
Yeah, the barrels look like fucking lightsabers.
and they start just kind of doing this whole thing, and whoops.
That's the
But-
one thing about the Mark 19 too that I hate too is the cleaning. The 50 cal, you just clean it, like you said, put it in the solvent tank. The Mark 19, there's shavings every fucking where, man. You gotta get into the brush and just man.
And you have to be very careful with the lubricants you use.
That and all of the
CLP will destroy a Mark 19.
the silver parts. They have
Yep.
to be if
Legit.
they're chipped, deadline.
Yep.
It's got to be
And
replaced.
you got to use whale jizz for the lubricant.
Yep.
I don't even remember.
LSAT lubricant. Something gunslinger should know, but it's LSAT.
There was another one for cold weather use too.
Yep.
If the temperature was low enough, you had to switch your weapon lubricant.
And it's for people who don't know the Mark 19. When we're saying lubrication, we're not talking about like one drop on or two drops on, one drop off. No, it's
We lost him.
He hit the wrong button. I've done that so many fucking times. Yeah,
That's why I stay away from the keyboard.
so you
Yep.
have a can of that shit.
Yep.
It's like paint. You tip a brush like a brush.
Like a
And you-
paintbrush.
You just slop it on.
Yep.
If it's not slopping wet like paint, it's not gonna work.
But
I'm a
when
big
the
fan of
Mark
240 Bravo. I really am. Because
like the Mark 19, one of the biggest problems that everybody has with it is they're always trying to do like 2-round bursts or 1 round at a time. It's like, no,
Yep.
you need to do 4 rounds minimum. Otherwise, what
The
happens is
sears
the links stretch.
Yep.
And once the links stretch, now it's not going to feed properly because the next round isn't in the right position for the feed pulse to grab it.
Well, the Mark 19's like that too. It has to have that little feed tray clamp on the side. If it
Yeah,
ain't got that, it's
you
not
have
gonna
to have
work
the
either.
feed chute on it.
Or you
it
have to literally have somebody there holding it, feeding
Yep.
it in.
Yep.
Like
You
I said,
can
in
feed it. You
concept,
can feed it out of the can if you have the actual the pintle mount, and you have the feed chute. If you have the pintle mount that holds the ammo can and the feed chute, you can feed it directly out of the can. Otherwise, you have to have an A gunner feed it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Like I like the 240.
Me
Biggest
too.
problem,
I loved it.
The biggest problems I saw with that was the extractor would always drip out. You know, it would
Huh?
rip out. It rip out the bolt. We had several of them.
They must have been
Shit.
shot out.
They must have
They-
been very shot out because
Yep. How they're held into? They're kind of like the MG42. They're
no, they're not.
the pin, the spring is pushed in, and then the extractor is pushed in. The spring holds that extractor out at the bottom of the bolt.
Kind of.
Mechanically, from a purely mechanical standpoint, the 240s, the 240 has a lot more in common with the BAR than it does the MG42.
Yep.
Well, I'm talking about just the extractor and nothing else. Just the extractor.
Well, the
with
extractor is. I actually never
It's
had a
on the
problem with
it's
one.
on the bottom of the bolt, and
That's-
it's in a squared off U notch.
That's
Yeah.
how all of ours. We had failures with those. They would just
They must have been beat to shit then.
they'd
Like
been
absolutely beat the fuck because, I mean, we beat the fuck out of ours, and they had
Yeah,
been
we
on
were
a
not
deployment
gentle with
before.
ours.
They had been on a previous combat deployment and fired a lot, and I don't know if they
Now,
replaced
ours-
the extractors, but
Ours
like,
were on a
bolts-
deployment prior to me getting in. So 09 is when they had an deployment. So that
I
might have
I
been-
blame it on MPs.
we didn't really use them that much, but
I blame it on MPs not knowing how to use small arms.
Here we go. No, but in all honesty, like that thing.
But you know how to wear your uniforms correctly.
actually, if I had to pick between the two, I would probably get an M60.
Okay. That just
I'm
opened
gonna go
up a can of
piss
worms for
because
me.
he's gonna talk for a while now.
I will I have been saying this because when I first got in 2002, I was an M60A gunner, and my gunner and I, on one particular field exercise, we jammed our 60 in a foxhole on the side of a hill in the wintertime. And it was as the attack was coming towards our position. We had to strip that thing down, unjam it, and fix it, put it back together in the span of 15 minutes while this attack is heading towards the guys in the foxholes in front of us. I will maintain until my dying day that for the specific purpose of dismounted infantry operations only, the M60 is a superior 30 caliber machine gun
That's
to
where
the
I'm
240.
Going. That's where I'm going. Yes. Now, as far as
You-
crew mounted, 240.
You
yes.
get it on a tripod,
Yes.
you get it on a vehicle mount, or in any other aspect, the 240 is the superior weapon.
I agree. Yes.
But
yes.
for dismounted infantry purposes
You
only,
can
the
shoulder it
M6
much better. Yes.
the M60 is the superior weapon for dismounted infantry operations only.
I agree. Yes. Yeah. Like I said, so as far as crew served or the tripod,
Vehicle, whatever.
the 240, yeah, because you could like it's very simple, but yeah, as far as like a Navy SEAL task where you're out walking with the definitely.
And if you're going to be mounting it in like a Humvee turret, you need your armor to convert them from 240 Bravo to 240 Delta variant, because then they have spade grips and butterfly triggers.
Because we had the M2 Chryslers is what that's how it was written in the MTO, TONE. It was a 50 cal, but without spade grips, it was a solenoid, and there was no charging handle. It was a wired cable handle, and you would just pull down, and that would cock the weapon.
Yep. But no, for that specific purpose, the M60 is superior for dismounted operations.
I've never actually had any experience with an M60, so I'm not gonna.
In the military, no, I have not. But as far I fired one M60.
The biggest
you could literally hold it and fire.
Yeah.
The
biggest reason why I say that, Mike, is because yes, you can shoulder fire a 240, but
it's very hard though. It's very hard.
The most natural place that you want to put your hand when you're shoulder firing a 240 is right where the ejection port is.
Yep.
No, it's right where the ejection port is. You're a bigger guy, so you can reach out a little bit farther.
Okay, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
The vast majority of people are going to put their hand right where the ejection port is.
Yep.
Okay.
On an M60, that same configuration of buttstock, pistol grip, and foregrip
Yep.
is exactly where it is
Yep.
on the M60 as it is buttstock, pistol grip, ejection port on the 240. But then you also don't have another 2 feet of gun in front of your offhand.
Exactly.
Yeah, because this is the thing. This like because I as we were in a light infantry unit is like I had to carry the 240, and it's like it's not user friendly as a
dismount gun.
Excuse me. It's not a good light infantry machine gun. It's not a light.
No.
It's not a good light machine gun or
No,
medium
it's-
machine gun rather.
It's too long.
Well, and also the ergonomics suck because
Yeah.
again, like I was telling you, is when I would carry that thing, my comfortable place would be on the pintle
Yeah.
mount, and I'm like, there's no foregrip. Like I just want something, and it's
Yeah.
like it would dig into my hands and shit.
Now the guys
As
we
far
had
as-
put side grips on them. They
like
put,
a saw, but like it's so fucking long. It's like
Yeah.
you know, where do you put that? And again, like Jake said, I didn't even think about that honestly until right now when you said that. Because I'm a bigger guy, my grip would be down there at the pintle mount. Most people's would be under the ejection port.
Mine was under the ejection port. When
Yeah.
I shouldered the 240, my left hand naturally went to the ejection port.
That's not good. And like, yeah, okay, no, that's very interesting because
Yep.
But from a mechanical standpoint, the 240 is far and away superior to the M60.
oh, it definitely is. I would agree with that. Yeah.
There's no comparison. The 240 is the better general purpose
Well,
machine gun.
and so my friend, he carried a Mark 18 in Afghanistan.
Isn't that the
He
isn't that
told
the-
me he
the
goes,
it's
308.
basically a 30 caliber saw, isn't it?
Yes.
right. He goes, it's basically like an M240 Bravo and a 249 had 6. His exact words.
You can convert them because I was trying to get where I work to do that. I was like, why don't we convert this all to 7.62? There's
Mark
a company.
18, yeah.
There's a company. No, it's a Mark 48. It's a Mark 40.
Mark. Hold
It's a
on.
Mark
Yeah,
48.
Yeah, it is the Mark 48, not the Mark 18.
48.
So
We're talking
the
about
Mark-
Mark 19s. Yeah.
yeah, Mark 18 is the something.
Mark
model.
48. Mark 48. Yep.
So
it's a 30 caliber saw.
There's a company that makes there's a conversion kit. It's the barrel bolt. I don't think it's the bolt. The bolt.
And the top cover.
Yeah, top cover, bolt, feed tray, barrel, and I think that's it.
And
But if I
probably the gas regulator.
I think that's the same.
That's probably integral with the barrel though.
Yeah. So it's like $7,000. You could convert your whole saw to a. So in the, I think British or Australian military, the saw is the mini me.
Yep.
The
Yep.
7.62 is the maxi me.
No,
And
it's the
It's
FN
the
mag.
Yep.
FN mag.
No, that's the 240 Bravo.
Right.
Oh,
The maxi me is the 7.62 version.
yeah, this
So
is the Mark 48.
Yeah, the Mark
Yes.
48. Yep.
See, the problem with the Mark 48 that I've heard, and I don't have any experience with this, but the problem is that I've heard is that because it's a 7.62 on basically a 5.56 design, it doesn't have the round count lifespan that the 249 has.
True. Yes.
It's literally like a 50 or 60,000 round gun, and it's trash.
I wish I had Chris on here.
Whereas like the 240 Bravo or any of the 240s really, they're like 200, 300,000 round guns.
Yeah.
That is by far the far superior bipod as well. That's what we had.
Yep.
You
Oh, yeah, I
don't-
never had that. Yeah.
You don't get pinched as much. That bipod is steel. It is like machined. It is not
Yep.
stamped like the old crappy one.
Yep.
It is hefty.
And
As
it's also
shit.
adjustable, like because I mean, like Jake, I carried a saw as well for a while.
Yep.
Before we got to Iraq, and they were like, "All right, give us back your saw, get an M4," and I'm like, "Okay." No, my friend Chris, he carried one of these in Afghanistan, and used it, and he said it saved his fucking life. The Mark 48.
Yeah.
And
Great. It
he
was a
loved
great
that thing.
idea. It was an absolutely great idea.
When he said it handled really well, he was like,
Yeah.
He was able
And
to
it's
eliminate a lot of threats and whatever.
And it's not
immediately.
much heavier than a saw.
Right. But it was a 7.62, and it's like,
Yeah.
therefore you don't have to sit there and spend time on a threat. You just a couple rounds done, and then you move on to the next one.
Yep.
And for fire and defilade and everything like that, keeps them down because it hits hard,
Mm-hmm.
And so
the Mark 48 is basically, in my opinion, it's the direct replacement for the M60. The 240 Bravo, like I've maintained for years, is a great firearm. I absolutely love it.
I think it's better as a mounted machine gun.
Yes, yes. It is not good as an infantry weapon, as a
No,
dismounted.
because I've used it as both, like you have too. Like when you're carrying it, I'm like, I'm not comfortable with
you
this
can't.
thing.
But if you're on a dismounted patrol and you're carrying a 240, if you get into a firefight, if you get ambushed, or if you make contact with the enemy, you cannot quickly employ that weapon. You have to set the weapon up. Whereas if you're carrying an M60 on a dismounted patrol, you're carrying it just like somebody's carrying an M4 or an M16.
You're already there. Like,
and
you just
you shoulder it.
This
and
is
you've got it.
Exactly what I carried. ACOG, front grip, the modern
Mark 48
saw.
That saw.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got the short. Yeah. Okay.
And the short stock. That stock was weird because you pushed a button in the bottom, it rotated like 30 degrees.
Yep.
And then you could pull back and forward and then lock back.
It's like my Benelli M4, my 1014.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I liked the ones where the buttstock was horizontal when it was collapsed more, the airborne buttstocks.
Yeah.
Because then you could really get in close. Like I'm one of those guys that when I'm carrying my M4 I've got my M4 clone right above my computer screen here. When I carry my M4 and I'm shooting it, I have the buttstock completely collapsed because I like getting that thing in tight.
Really?
I tuck in.
Well, you're a bigger guy too, though. So.
Well, no, Jake's
I'm 6'0" and I'm down to 230 now. I was 270 at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah, but in deployment you were like 190. So.
Yeah, I was in the 190s, but
seriously, like, so you like the really short.
I did, yeah, I did. I still do. For
right,
work,
straight up, right. I square up my chest to the target, and my rifle straight out in front.
Well, see, that's the thing is, like, I always liked it extended either second position from out or all the way out, and I felt the same way. I felt comfortable, like I could square up and just fucking, yeah. But again, that's a good thing they have that because it's user preference.
Yeah, Yep, and that's one of the points where me and I got a buddy who's a tanker in the 4th ID in 2005 and 6. And that's where he and I butt heads all the time because he went to school. He got his bachelor's degree in law enforcement before he enlisted. So when he enlisted, he was already in his early 20s, mid 20s. But when he shoots, even with the collapsible stock, he's got that thing fully extended and he's bladed across his body. And he thinks,
yeah, I'm not. I get no fucking.
Yeah. But he's
we'll talk after.
Full on
we'll talk after the stream. Yeah.
And I asked him, why do you do that? And he's like, so you present a smaller target. I'm like, but if you're wearing body armor, you want the bigger plate towards the target.
And if you're blading, the fucking stock is too long for you. The length of pull is too long.
He's a big guy. He's your size.
But I don't blade though when I do that.
That's exactly what he said though, is that because when you're blading, you're presenting a smaller target. He went through FBI training with his bachelor's degree. He went through part of the because after he got back from Iraq and he got medicaled out of the Army, he became federal law enforcement, Federal Department of Defense law enforcement. So he went through FBI law enforcement training. But they teach to blade, so you're presenting the narrowest narrowest possible target to the threat, and it's like
that's old school.
But body armor
Yes.
If you've got a body armor plate on your chest,
Yep.
that's 3 square feet or 3 square feet worth of surface area, why would you not want to present that to the target?
Yep.
Because you have much smaller vital.
So wait a second. Are you saying he chicken wing basically
No.
before he went through this training? Or
He
what
does this.
Yeah.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
a side shit.
He
Not
tucks
this.
his elbows in.
Yes.
He tucks his elbows in, but he's fully bladed. He's shooting across his torso.
But
Yes.
you were doing this, so that's why I was confused. Like,
Well,
That's old school. Like it's
that's my dad does this because he
Yeah,
was trained in
exactly.
the 80s.
Yep.
yeah.
Right.
it's old school.
It's okay.
The
And
way
he-
we were taught is
And he does the
straight
same
on.
thing.
Okay.
And he does the same thing with pistol shooting too. He
Yeah, that's what my dad does. Yes.
yeah.
He
He
if you
he
look,
has
if
the
you look at my
isosceles.
videos, dude. If you look at my videos. Look, my dad's shooting a pistol. He'll always do this.
Yeah.
It's my hands. It's not a fucking gun. YouTube.
Sing ping
but,
pong.
They're
He'll always
more
do
lethal
this.
than a firearm.
Right. Jesus Christ. But like I always do this because
You'll
you're
put
right.
someone's
Jake. Like,
eye out,
it's-
kid.
We were always trained with body armor, but if you don't have body armor, this is a bigger. Okay.
And this is how I shot when I was shooting competition. Actually, when I was shooting competition, it was NRA one hand, but
NRA negotiating rights away. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah.
MCing right there.
But
DJing.
But when I went through the police academy in 2012, it was both hands straight out in front.
Right.
You're squared up to the target.
Like you were
Shay,
saying,
when
you
we
have
went
more
through-
body
yeah.
armor.
Yeah, the academy, like they teach you that too.
Yeah.
You do
police
not,
academy
you
was
do,
this.
you do not blade. It's all frontal body armor.
Yep.
And you can plus you're not relying on one arm.
Yep.
It's both arms.
Yep.
You're creating a triangle to point out and fire. Yep. And like I said, we've got Delta, Ranger, and Marine Corps guys teaching us at work, who, they've been through. They're conglomerating all this information. Same thing. That side blading stuff is.
If you've got a big plate of body armor on your chest, why would you not want to point that at the threat?
Well, even if you don't, let's talk about it this way. Even if you don't, right? You're just t-shirt like all of us are wearing right now. Still, the most stable position, in my
more
opinion,
stable,
is to go. I'm gonna do this, okay?
Yep.
And I'm gonna actually most likely hit you before you hit me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all that matters, right?
Yep.
Because if I can hit you before you hit me,
You're gonna win.
we're good to go. Because then if you're down and you're still alive, there might be some things that happen. But like, it's like, no, I just want you to be not a threat anymore. End of story. And yeah, if you're gonna shoot me, you're gonna shoot me, right? And it
But
sucks.
here's the
Yeah.
thing: if you're squared up to your target and you get hit, doesn't matter where you get hit. If you get hit in your dominant arm, you lose control of that arm, you can just pass the firearm over to your non-dominant hand, and you're still on target.
That's a big thing, is like doing ambidextrous shooting, even if you're not good at it, just being familiar with it and how to do it.
I'm actually almost as good with pistol non-dominant single hand as I am dominant single hand. Almost as good.
Yeah, that's a requirement for our law enforcement qualifications yearly. You have to single-handedly fire
Non-dominant.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 or 12 shots. It's semi-close range.
When I was going through the academy, there was a female officer. I don't remember if it was Wausau PD or if it was Marathon County Sheriff's Department, but she had gotten into a gunfight with a suspect, and she had gotten hit in her dominant hand or in her dominant arm, and lost the use of her dominant arm. She ended up winning that firefight because she was good enough with her non-dominant hand to continue firing.
Yep.
And that's also the only reason why she survived that fight, is because she had trained to fire non-dominant.
Well, they also did teach us that in the military, is like, they said, all right, you guys, you're proficient with your firearms enough to where we're comfortable. today we're gonna do ambidextrous shooting, and it's like the first time you shoulder an M4 or a saw or anything
On the
like
wrong
that,
shoulder.
and actually you're like, oh, what the fuck? But then it's like,
Mhm.
well,
All
yeah,
the
if
fundamentals are the same.
they are, but it's just awkward. But
Yeah.
it's like, again, muscle memory, familiarity, and it's if you can do that once you get hit in your dominant arm, and like, okay, I can't hold this weapon up with this arm, but I can with this.
Mhm.
Bam. Okay, you can still be effective and eliminate the threat.
Yeah, you're not 100% effective, but if you can manage 70%,
70% is
80%,
a lot better than 0%.
yeah,
You know,
We
It's-
do that
it's all-
too, as long as well as reloading one-handed as well. You know,
well,
taking
that's a
Yeah.
fucking skill.
taking your rifle, throwing it between your legs, stripping the mag, reinserting the mag, and then coming back out on target with a rifle, stuff like that.
I
Well, same
never
with
did
pistol,
it.
right?
Never did it with rifle, but I
rifle.
have done it
Yeah.
with pistol.
Rifle,
But
I
I'm
have
saying like
trained it with
same with
pistol.
pistol though, the same concept. Of
yeah,
like,
yeah, definitely. Well, you can reholster, strip
Yep.
the mag out, yeah,
yep. And
or
so
put it between your arm.
that's a big
Yeah.
thing. And like you get a lot of these
Or-
like, yeah,
Or
go ahead.
here's a big one: being able to draw your pistol from a holster on your dominant side with your non-dominant hand,
That's a huge
cross draw.
and that's not easy to do if you've got a level 3 retention holster.
correct.
No, but it's all about like, what do you want to do? if
You
that
have to
situation
stay in the
happens?
fight.
You have to stay in that, and that's the thing is, I think I don't want to disparage or like talk shit on any LEOs, right? That have not been in the military. However, I think that, I mean, I don't know about you, Trey, but like when Bravo and I were in the military, they did this shit with us nonstop about, hey, your dominant hand is fucked. How do you fucking do this?
You have to
How
be
do
in the
you-
fight
How do you reload a fucking saw? You know,
without
like
your dominant
at a
hand.
240, like you have to reload. You have to stay in the fucking fight.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're wounded. Your medic's probably going to be working on somebody else, or they're not going to get to you in time. You have to stay in the fight.
Or you don't have a medic, which is
Yeah,
more
for-
often than not. Which is more often than not what you have, because it's what, one medic per platoon by doctrine.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's the same in law enforcement. It's like you're the medic.
Yeah, you have a tourniquet basically, but
In-
we don't really train as far as for pistol. For where I work, it's rifle. So
Yeah.
pistol's secondary. We always
For
have
sure.
a rifle. We
and
always
in law enforcement, paramedics ain't going to show up while there's still shooting going on.
yeah.
They don't show up until the scene is secure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so it's like it's a really tough thing to think about and like train for, but you have to because
Mhm.
guess what? When there's nobody there to help you, you can only help yourself. And if you're sitting
Yeah.
there waiting for somebody else,
You are your own backup.
exactly. And
Prepare
I
to
mean-
self-rescue.
exactly. And so that's kind of why I liked having, that training.
That shit does apply in a military setting, Zach. It absolutely does apply. Weapons retention is fucking huge in the military.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Just because you have a squad around you doesn't mean you're not going to get into a fist fight with a fucking Haji who comes out of a doorway next to you before you can get your rifle up.
do you remember when we landed in Kuwait right before we went up to Iraq in 2009? And a certain somebody dropped an M9 on one of the ranges in Kuwait because he didn't have it lanyarded.
Nope. Oops.
Do you remember what happened there?
That was
That was
not
one
a
of the
fun-
first time. That was one
that
of the
was
first and only times I agreed with that particular senior NCO chewing the ever loving shit out of that guy.
Now, as far as your M9s, what did y'all have for holsters?
whatever we could get.
A lot of the guys bought Black Hawk Serpa holsters.
I had one.
That was
Yep.
the cool guy thing to have when we got in, but you hardly ever see that in the LE world because
The Serpa holsters are really not that good.
they're
It's
not.
a level 2. It's easy.
Well, you can get level 3 for them, but they're
Well,
not good because if
They lock on-
gravel,
They lock onto the trigger guard, and if you get debris inside the holster, it can
Yep.
jam the holster.
you cannot get
Yep.
the pistol out.
And
yeah, so most
also,
of the guys that I saw were carrying those. I didn't carry an M9 in Iraq, but like most
I
of the
did
guys
for
that
a
I did
little
see
while.
carrying, Yeah, like you, a lot of the guys had them up here, and they were level 2, and it was like very close to them, and they were lanyarded under their fucking vest.
Yep.
And it was like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so
I had a
Yep.
transitional where I could put it on my leg, and if I got into a Humvee, I found this out early on. If you get into a Humvee and you have a leg holster, you can't get your pistol out.
no, you
Nope.
cannot.
No, it's so
What-
when you
what
get
I
in,
ended
you
up
put
what
it on
I
your
ended up doing.
chest.
Let Trey finish for a second.
Yep.
Yeah, you had like a
What I did with
No, go ahead.
mine on my leg holster is I would actually rotate it around so it was on top of my thigh when I was in the truck.
So we had a rotational rig from Blackhawk where you would
Yep.
like push 2 tabs, it would rotate. You could take it off of your leg, and I had one on my chest rig. I could lock it in.
Yep.
So if I'm driving, I could pull the pistol out to the
Yep.
the window.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
But yeah, the Blackhawk holsters, they're a really good idea. But
Yeah.
the Serpa holsters are a really good idea, but they just don't work in
No.
practice.
What also, there's a lot of guys that, because they had it lanyarded, as SOP was in our unit, they said a lot of times those things failed if they were like jumping out of a truck or doing something. The pistol would just fall out, and they'd hear it clanging on shit, and they're like, "What the fuck? Oh shit!" Grab the lanyard, pull it up, and they're like, "Oh, that just fell out on level 2," and it's like, yeah, not good.
Yeah, there's very few good level 3 holsters out there for service pistols. Very few.
I hate to be a fanboy, but the Safari Land, I like them just because that's
what I have now.
Is that the one where it has the plastic and metal loop that goes over the top? You have to push it down and it flips forward.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be like the one I have now has like it is level 3, but it doesn't have the loop. But
Okay.
if dirt gets in there,
those are really
it doesn't work. It doesn't like the Safari Land or Serpa when the dirt gets in the holster, you cannot get the pistol out. Safari Land, vice versa. There's a lot of space in between the pistol and the holster.
Yes.
So you can still get it out.
Yep. Yeah, the Safari Land is the one. I can never remember what the brand is, so thank you for reminding me. But yeah, the Safari Land is basically the only really decent level 3 holster.
Yeah.
There's really nothing much else on the market.
A lot of SF have them now because now they get like wraps for them to camouflage the holsters themselves. So it's not like flashy, plastic, shiny.
Yep. But yeah, that's. But yeah, I actually had an M9 for about half of the deployment. And then for some reason, the EOD unit that was next to us on the pad, they needed M9s for whatever fucking reason because they never left the base. And so they took my M9 away from me and gave it to them.
No, oh, come on, Jake. They left the base to go to us, after fucking 2.5 hours, and when we get IDF. And
this EOD unit never fucking went anywhere. They never left. Their vehicles had an inch of dirt on them.
And I'm just saying to be fair,
they were living on the same pad as us when we got an artillery
rocket. Was that Army EOD or was that Navy?
Yeah, it was Army.
Oh, because all the guys that showed up to us when we get shit happening was like Navy EOD.
No,
and they were,
but
slow,
we
but they showed up.
But they were living on the same pad as us when we got that one particular artillery rocket attack, where they radar tracked a rocket that landed right on our pad somewhere, right on pad 12. Couldn't find it for 24 hours. We had an EOD unit living on pad 12, and they couldn't find it for 24 hours.
Sounds about right. I mean, it's, because like when that whole thing happened with me, like the Navy EOD showed up about 2 hours after that happened, but they recovered the round and walked it right past me.
No, ours, they blew it in place.
They couldn't blow it in place where I was at, so they were like, they were walking around.
It actually buried itself in one of the because around pad 12 there was a whole bunch of canals, irrigation canals and shit, and it ended up burying itself in one of the dikes along an irrigation canal back by the motor pools. And so they just blew because it was 200-300 meters away from any of the residential structures. They just blew it in place.
Yeah. Fucking loud.
Yeah, I was actually
God
in the
damn.
chow hall. I was actually in the chow hall about a quarter of a mile away, inside a building surrounded by 20-foot tall T-walls, and it shook the just everything inside the chow hall.
Well, yeah, like
dust fall from the
you know where
ceiling.
we were at. We would get IDF all the time that would fall short right
Yep.
outside of our T walls, and it was like, holy shit, man! Like, that's fucking loud. I mean, really loud. And then yeah, they whatever. Anyway,
I
I'm
gotta
getting kind
go
of
because
sleepy. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I gotta get up in like 6 hours.
Yep, and yeah, I went on a little trip for a couple days, and it was fun, but I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun.
Real quick, did the link I sent you? You ever seen the gun cotton cartridge?
No, but also, why don't you tell Jake about the Lorenz really quick, like, because you told me about that and what he's gonna need, because Jake and I are gonna put together a second Wisconsin
Gotcha.
Volunteer Infantry Regiment impression someday.
So
It'll happen someday.
ironically, that's what it came from. The Austrians produced a non-smokeless cartridge for the Lorenz. It's basically a bullet with a wooden dowel on the bottom of it, and then the wooden dowel has nitrated cotton wrapped around the dowel. So what you could do is you take the cartridge, throw it down the barrel. You don't have to ram it because in theory, if you throw it down the barrel quick enough, it lands at the bottom of the barrel. Then you put a cap on the percussion primer, fire it, and when it fires, the cap that goes into that nitrated cotton, the cotton fires off the bullet. So you don't have to worry about ramming the cartridge, putting black powder. It was basically kind of one of the first smokeless powders, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
But
I never heard it called what did you say, a Lorenz?
The Austrian
That's the
Lorenz.
rifle. That's the rifle.
Yeah, the Austrian Lorenz is an 1854 54 caliber Lorenz rifle.
And that's obviously, I didn't know this, but that's what the second Wisconsin had up until after Gettysburg.
Yeah, predominantly
so
fire. Yeah, because
they get a repro.
Everybody
expensive.
Yeah, about what you were saying with the 1795, about the same price.
What was it, an 1854 Lorenz?
Lorenz. Lorenz.
That's a percussion cap.
Musket? Yeah, it is. But is that a rifle musket or is it just a musket?
Rifled.
Rifle.
That's that is a handsome firearm.
Fuck yeah, it is. Fuck yeah, it is.
I want one now.
Yeah, well, we definitely. You're my fat ass. You're less fatter ass.
Hold on.
We need to get a fucking. Oh, by the way, I found a guy that can make us uniforms. So, I did. They're expensive and they take a while, but I did find a guy that can make us uniforms.
Are they
hat link?
Are they wool?
Yes.
Does a tin man have a sheet metal cock? I mean, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, I'm a fucking stickler for fucking accuracy historically.
Yeah. Like I said, Goober Grabber online. Tell him I sent you. He'll try to help you out.
And also, yeah, I Trey can send me the fucking link, and then.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: let's start piecing that shit together, because I think it'd be cool, since you and I were in a unit that was a lineage directly of the second Wisconsin. Like, I think it'd be fucking cool to grab a Lorenz rifled musket, rather, and the entire impression, and just fucking go to town.
Yeah, like I said, Alex was saying, the gun cotton was not stable enough. It was too much variable. But
shit! I mean, it gets rained on. Not good. Humidity, not good.
Because it wasn't really a cartridge; it was literally just a bullet with a wooden dowel and gun cotton wrapped around it and tied.
Yeah, and it's like if that gets any moisture in it, it's
and because of the chemical composition to make gun cotton,
that's why Austria didn't go to it. It was too expensive. They were like,
it decays quickly too.
Yeah, you just keep using black powder. But by the time they were starting to really experiment and develop with it, then you start having brass casing cartridges. So it kind of devolved.
It was a moot point at that. It was moot at that point.
Yeah.
But the Lorenz I mean, Trey, you've started a fucking sickness that's infected me, and then
Yep.
now it's infected Jake. So we both have to get Lorenz rifled muskets, and the bayonets are going to be even a bigger bitch to find.
I don't think so. I think the bayonets are actually the originals are actually fairly cheap. If I
Really?
Yeah, I think so because they made millions of them because of it.
Well, that'd be cool.
Now,
It's kind of like the original 1861 Springfield bayonets. They're only like $100 on eBay.
so
Original.
real quick question when it comes to reenactment: are the firearms used for reenactment, are they capable of firing live ammo?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You just don't put a projectile in there.
Yep.
Obvious.
Yep. You just
No,
put powder down.
that's the thing is like, so when I do World
You
War
just
One
patch
and
it.
World War II or whatever, well, World War One mainly, I have my 1903, my actual 1903 that fires live rounds. I fired it. It's fucking insanely accurate. But for reenactments, I use blanks. But you can
Okay.
fire it. And
Yep.
so yeah, it's the same thing with ACW, any kind of time period. You can get like, so when you get towards like the semi-automatic and the automatic weapons from like World War II on, mainly, you need blank firing adapters for semis.
Yep.
And whatever. And then you get B-fongs.
Or like the Garands that have the blank barrels on them that are restricted.
Well, no, here's the thing:
The
is like
blank
you can still have
blank
you can
fire
still have
hole.
an M1. You just put a BFA in there and then take it out, and then it fires live rounds. But the thing you run into is B-fongs, blank firing only non-guns, which is like
Yep.
if you get an MP40 that's a B-fong,
Yep.
Now
it's
you
only
can
going to be able
get,
to fire blanks. Yeah.
Let me go real quick.
You can get blank barrels and blank firing adapters if you have $50,000 to spend on a fucking MP40.
Yeah.
But
And if you can find one that's actually being sold.
Correct.
There was a company, Military Heritage, so you can get a replica. It's $570, $580. It's a Lorenz, but it's not rifled. It's just a smoothbore version of the musket, which is not accurate. But if you just want it for display, it's okay.
If it was supposed to be rifled, I want it rifled.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the way I do it too. It's like, I want it the way I'd rather save up and find a
but like you were saying earlier, if you wanted like cross rifles just to put them on the wall, Military Heritage has a rifle that's made in India. It's the Lorenz Type 2. But if you want to get an original or not original, if you want to get one, get one of the Italian
a repro that's exactly original. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's gonna be about $1,800.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, it's about $1,800.
I only need one kidney.
Yeah. No, I'm actually Trey sent me a link a while back for a repro, like the best repro you can get. The best. I'm telling you, it's the best reproduction.
That's just what they tell me. I've been told.
A lot of people have told me. A lot of people have told me this is the best reproduction. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna be.
I don't know for myself, but that's what they say.
So finally, Jake's speaking his real voice for once.
Yeah. But
anyway,
why isn't Trey on your Discord? He needs to be on Discord to share all this stuff with us.
I don't know. Because I'm probably.
It is because he's the youngest boomer ever and doesn't know how to use Discord?
What?
No.
What do you mean?
The 1911 is a great gun.
You should see this fucking piece of shit without a mustache. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, come on. Leave his Mario Brothers mustache alone.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, I had the Imperial.
Yeah, you had that. That was fucking great. We had the Franco-Prussian shit.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Yeah, that was amazing.
Kind of like Ian's.
Yeah, kind of. Not it does like down to here, but yes. I was fighting the
I was leaving at that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
okay. Kind of like his chin pubes.
I'll send
the video to the group as well if you want to watch that. It's the
I'll look in on getting Trey onto the Discord.
Oh, original Civil War era Austrian model socket bayonet. Nice.
Yep. So that's the bayonet. Like I said, you can get them fairly cheap. I mean, they're not too expensive, but as far as the rifle itself, they should work the same. They
Yep,
same
pop it on,
dimensions.
twist it,
Yeah.
lock it. Yep.
Well, the Austrian Lorenz is weird. It doesn't like come down and twist like American bayonets.
It looks like you have to
rotates.
screw it on.
It rotates. It's weird. It's cool.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
gonna have to find it. I'm gonna have to find a Lorenz now. I want one.
You
Well, Tree's
might
got
be
the
able to-
link to the best repro.
Yeah, the
It's
pedestal
just
leads
$1,800
for
fucking
what?
dollars.
Yeah.
And don't you
I think
dare fucking get that before I do.
I don't have
Do it.
I don't have that kind of money to spare. I've got 2 kids.
Sell one of them. Yeah. Well,
Hey, I didn't have the fucking orgasms. It's not my fault.
They're both cute. Shut up.
That's what's funny is like I literally heard one of my friends say that to another friend back in the day. Like he's bitching about like, God, my fucking kid's just doing this and he's doing that. He was just like stressed out. He was having a bad day. And he's like, I didn't have the fucking orgasm. And I'm like, fair but harsh, but also funny. I like
what
it.
can you do? What can you do?
What do you do? You know, there's always something you can do. There really is.
It's not my fault that she climbed on top
Whoops.
multiple times.
Yeah. Talk with her. No.
Got
No,
a little bit of
next
unwanted
Friday.
snoo going on there.
Next Friday, I'm getting snipped, so there won't be any more
No.
than 2. Yeah,
What?
There won't-
Oh my god.
there won't be any more than 2.
Whoops.
We can't
that's-
afford it. We can't afford it. Like having 2 is literally tapping us out. Holly's not going back to work after Nick was born because at $215 a week per kid per day for daycare.
Yeah, no, it's not fucking. Here, let's just end this shit really quick live.
Yeah, she would. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, man. Everyone.
Support Mike on Patreon, $5 and above tier. You get access to his Discord, and you can continue these nonsenses there.
Yep. So, all right, everyone. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you later.